Okay, hello everybody. Hi Jay. Hi, welcome. Yes, extra episodes this week. Oh, yeah. It's going to be a short one tonight, though. But yeah, there's just so much going on out there. Had to share. Hello, Raymond. Welcome. Tosh, hello. Good evening. Welcome. I've got kind of a little bit shorter discussion for tonight, but thanks, Marcus. Thank you so much for saying that. I appreciate that. But welcome. Oh, you betcha. Another indictment. Yeah, that's the rumor anyway, at least. We have some rumors going on, but yeah, we will see. There's just so much going on. It's hard to keep track of everything. It's hard, but interesting. Yeah, sorry. Sorry about that. Oh my goodness, I got to get myself sorted out. I do. Yes, the announcement on Monday. I'm not really sure what he's going to be talking about. It's going to be interesting to see. RICO Colada. Oh my goodness. Oh, hi, Fabian. Welcome. Yes, we will. We'll see what happens. I'm not really sure. I'm nervous. These days I'm a little bit nervous about what's going on. So we will see what happens. My goodness. Well, thanks for joining me, everybody. Had a very, very interesting piece of information shared with me earlier, and it was just so fascinating. I had to hop on and talk to people about it. Let's see. Yes, I'm not going to be, oh, you guys are going to be disappointed. I do have the Georgia indictment here. I'm kind of taking a little bit of Q&As, but really what I just wanted to emphasize again was this idea that we had a filing, an accidental filing that occurred in court, and it was retracted. And again, that doesn't mean then that the indictment is invalid. It just is, it was a clerical error. So I just wanted to kind of share that with everyone again and remind everybody that we are just, sometimes we make mistakes in the legal field. So it just kind of happens. So yes, true. But again, if you are interested in this, I will be going through specifically the First Amendment today, but I wanted to, before I dive too much into my First Amendment spiel for tonight, I did want to remind everyone this is available online. Yes, this is the error, and it happens. It happens all the time. Clerical errors happen all the time in the legal field. Yep, happens all the time. Every day, all day, every day, happens all the time. It just means that there was a clerical error. It just happens. So it is a harmless error, and we still go forward with our legal documentation. So just kind of clarifying everything. Nope, calls. Thanks for asking, but nope, I'm actually going to be talking about the First Amendment a little bit tonight, just a little bit. Yeah, it didn't matter. It didn't matter when the clerical error occurred. Sometimes it just happens. And that's okay. Sometimes we just have clerical errors. So just a friendly reminder about that. But tonight I wanted to actually talk about something that was brought to my attention that I found to be absolutely fascinating, that I just had to talk to everybody about. I'm not sure if you've heard about this or not. This was something that is that's been going on in Michigan, and it's House Bill 4474. No, RICO most certainly is not a joke. Very serious. Yes, just on for a little bit, Suze. I wanted to talk about this interesting bill out of Michigan. What's been going around in the media is that there is a bill in Michigan that's passed. It hasn't gone through everything, but that it's making it a crime or federal or felony offense if you get somebody's pronouns wrong. And that's a pretty big lie. That's a pretty big falsehood. And it was really so frustrating and so ridiculous. I really wanted to print out the law and talk about it a little bit here. Yeah, exactly. It's been a really big deal. And the more that I dug into it, the more stories I saw about it going around that this is the House Bill 4474. And within this bill, this is the hate crime statute for the state of Michigan. And they're adding some language in here to include a few other groups of people. And by using this language in this bill, there have been some stories going around saying that if you say the wrong pronouns to somebody, you're going to get charged with a felony. I wanted to really clear this up. It was just passed. No, that's okay. I'm just getting started, Amanda. But this is really a pretty significant problem because they're marketing it as they're saying the First Amendment right to say pronouns in whatever way that you determine to say them, that you can be found guilty of a hate crime. And that is absolutely incorrect. That is absolutely wrong. And I wanted to come on here and really just clarify something when it comes to the First Amendment. Right, exactly. It's free speech. It's free speech. And this bill goes into talking about what kind of actions or what kind of conduct are prohibited when it comes to different kinds of hate and hateful conduct that's harassing and harmful and frightening. And so all of this language is in here regarding that harassment based off of different kinds of protected classes. And nowhere in this bill does it say anything about pronouns. There's this general idea of activity, but there's no discussion about that. And the language itself that's being discussed through a few different media places is specifically saying that this bill is saying you can't say pronouns wrong or you'll be charged. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Like when the right tried. Yes, that's right. Exactly. So I wanted to just take a minute and just kind of raise everybody's awareness of this, just so we can kind of make sure that we keep everything straight when we're dealing with the First Amendment. Yeah, John, it's about hate crimes, but you have to keep in mind whenever our statutes in any state, this just is Michigan, but when they put in language for hate crimes, which is allowable, they're talking about specific conduct. They're not talking about specific words themselves. And so that freedom of speech, of course, always attaches. And so this kind of idea that if you say incorrect pronouns that you're going to be charged is just absolutely complete miscommunication. And it's very, very difficult. Will I be reading the bill? Should I get a beverage? I will be going through this bill. It's only a couple of pages, but I want to kind of explain it. I think it's important. I think it's something that's making the rounds. I think it's something to be aware of. Hello, Rosie. Hello, welcome. Yeah, the word pronouns not in the bill, and right, disabled is not on the bill either. And this was a part of a set of bills in Michigan that they were trying to pass, which, by the way, Michigan does appear to have a bit of a RICO statute, just saying FYI there. But we have another bill that was in here talking about criminal procedure and going into different categories of felonies when it comes to harming children as well. So this was part of that set of bills. And another part of the bill was Bill 4476, where we've got institutional desecration. So if a person is maliciously, intentionally destroying, defacing, or vandalizing a place that is protected or set out as institutional, then you can also be fined as well. So again, that's another piece of it. And then the last one, again, has to do with protecting children. So it was one of a set of bills that came through. Yes, I know. Let's just, I think this is a good opportunity to talk about hate crimes and the First Amendment. And because we do have a special category of speech that is not protected by the First Amendment, freedom of speech, and can be regulated to some degree. And it's a tricky area when we get into hate speech, so we have to be kind of careful about it. But what we've got here, if we go into and this is going to be a short live tonight, it really just is a point I wanted to bring up so that if anyone's got questions about how this works with the First Amendment, you'll know how it works. But here's the code section for Michigan's hate crime statute. So a person is guilty of ethnic intimidation if that person maliciously and with specific intent to intimidate or harass another person because of that person's race, color, religion, gender, or national origin does any of the following. This is the original statute. Now, what this bill is proposing is a change to that language to include another group of people. So let me walk you through what we've got here. Same section here. This is their hate crime statute. A person is guilty of a hate crime if that person, and then this part's being struck, come down further, and it says intimidates or harasses another individual, causes bodily injury or severe mental anguish to another individual, uses force or violence on another individual, damages, destroys, or defaces any real, personal, digital, or online property of another individual, or threatens by word or act to do any of the above described actions if the person, regardless of the existence of any other motivating factors, intentionally targets the individual or engages in the action based in whole or in part on any of the following actual or perceived characteristics of another individual. So this is the key here. We're talking about race or color. We're talking about religion, letter C, letter D, gender identity and expression, a physical or mental disability, age, ethnicity, national origin, and this last piece, association or affiliation with an individual or group of individuals with a characteristic described under subdivisions A to I. So not only these particular groups, but also if you are part of any other kind of association or group, except as provided in subsection 3, a person who violates subsection 1 is guilty of a felony, punishable by imprisonment of not more than 2 years or a fine of not more than $2,000 or both. So I'm not going to read the entire thing. I really wanted to just hit that very first piece. And this is, I think, a well-intentioned and a well-written hate crime statute that Michigan has put together here. And this idea that they're kind of turning this into a situation where this particular group who's requesting particular pronouns to be done, to be used, you're not going to be looking at a felony under the First Amendment. So it's a good question. I think it's a valid point to bring up. So I wanted to draw everybody's attention to that. I did, back in the old days, a long time ago, had a couple of cases I prosecuted that we attached on. In my state, hate crimes are attached on as an additional charge. And so we had a C felony level assault that one woman had done to another woman, and it was racially motivated. And so we charged as a hate crime. So it was an enhancement measure in our state. And Michigan is setting out their own rules here. So it's a very interesting thing. But again, one of those moments where I'm looking at how something is written or presented in the media, and I'm saying, how can anyone present that way? That's completely wrong. Yes, indeed. Oh, that's okay if people are being hateful. That's okay. That's all right if they're being. It's a thought crime. No. Wow, the comments are vicious tonight, everybody. Vicious. So, yeah, we don't need that kind of energy here. I'm just here simply to, the hate really does bring out the worst. But I'm here to just explain to you, if you see this story going around and you see people talking about criminalizing the use of pronouns, I really encourage you to say that that is absolutely correct. And incorrect. Sorry, that's absolutely incorrect. I'm reading these comments. I'm actually really quite shocked at how the comments are being tonight, you guys. For those of you that are being exposed to that, I really apologize. Yeah, go on if you don't want to be here. You don't have to be here. I'm here for just information, so I'm just trying to help out. I've got some great mods in here, but please don't abuse my mods. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Oh, yeah, there's plenty of that going around. Yeah, we're just here to, this bill is setting out the hate crime statute in Michigan, which I think is really important. And there's some discussion about criminalizing incorrect pronouns, which is absolutely incorrect. Yep. So that's really it. Okay, virus. Let's talk about it. Why can't I beat a neighbor but a stranger but get hate crime charges? Get my point. Seriously. Virus, I think you really need to think about the fact that you're even asking that question. I mean, I think that's kind of on you. I think that's a you issue, not an issue that needs education. Yeah. Bunch of people block. Yes, I think so. Yep, informational purposes only. Just informational purposes. Yeah, being hateful, we're talking about hate crimes. Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, see, and that's the thing, Bryce. That's the thing. The multiple shows saying the same things are all incorrect. They're all wrong. They are lying to you. It is incorrect and wrong, and so wrong. I hopped on tonight to explain that, because that's how wrong it was. It was just at that level of wrongness. So no, if you use the pronouns incorrectly, of course not. Yeah, the hate crime statute's really kind of been a game changer for the places that have it. So I've been pleased to see that it's been up there. Thank you, Neen. Thank you. So this was really my update that I had on what I wanted to share with everyone regarding the First Amendment tonight. But I did want to also, I've got a small bit of time. They really do. People really do. But I do have a small bit of time again, and I really wanted to emphasize here also. So everybody remember what I've said. Take it with you. Yes, take your knowledge with you, and when you see it, make sure you know, I've learned that this is wrong. The term hateful is overused now and is dangerous for free speech. Carl, that's absolutely incorrect, and I think it's about time we've used the word hate when appropriate. So, nope, we're okay. And again, I'm just going to go back again to the Georgia indictment and remind everyone with the language that's been put out that are the accidental clerk filing yesterday does not mean, or the day before, does not mean that our entire indictment is thrown out. So that's another thing. So those are really my 2 points. Other than that, I guess I'll kind of open the floor up if anyone's got questions about things they've heard regarding the Georgia indictment. We've had a couple of new things that have come down. Not very good things, of course. We've got requests for trial already set down. We've got requests to move to federal court, which I think we all had questions about. Will it happen? Probably not, but I think it's worth trying. So, oh, sure, David, you're welcome. You're welcome, Rosie. Yeah, just kind of short tonight, just kind of catching. Yeah, Maisie, I did talk about the pronouns again, just clarifying for everyone who's interested. If you see this going around, House Bill 4474, it's a hate crime statute in Michigan where they're going into inappropriate conduct in protected classes of people. So this is not about criminalizing the incorrect pronoun terminology. Were they? I don't know. No, they're not. They're not doxxed. What? I hope not. Let's just take a moment and acknowledge what's happened here with the grand jury. I had something pulled up. Let me hold on a minute. Okay, so if you mean were they exposed, then yes, they were. The names of the grand jurors and their addresses had been leaked. It also had been put out on multiple websites. Now, I think for those of you that were with me when I went through this, I had been kind of covering up the names. And because most of us as attorneys were like, you know what? I mean, why is this information out there? But again, it came through, and someone is kind of using that in order for people to find out their names and their addresses and where they live. And it's horrible. Yeah, I think that's what we're meaning by doxing. I mean, I originally, I had not been sure, but then, as soon as someone made that comment, I'm like, wait a minute, memory is being triggered. Yes, that's correct. Is it illegal? Weren't there protective orders in DC? Why didn't they do that in Georgia? Great question, Mads. And I think it's because it's a state situation. I had assumed that they had protection out for everybody involved because the courthouse had been so protected. So I had assumed the grand jurors had been protected too. But again, as I was going through it and reading that the jurors were listed, I was like, well, they must be something in place, but no. Yeah. I mean, it's a big issue, but I mean, again, what kind of people do we have out there that are going after our grand jury? This is a Georgia law for transparency. Okay, fair enough. But, again, this may be one of those moments where they figure out if that law is good or not. Can we just stop using pronouns? A lot of, the question about pronouns is one that will be continuously debated. I think one of the best explanations that anyone ever told me was, if someone asks you to call them something, whatever it may be, and legally as well. So, it's controversial, I get it, but I will seek revenge if someone does. Okay, great, King. Thanks for sharing. Did Meadows flip? I'm not sure. Language changes. People need to stop being so ridiculous. Yeah, it does change. It absolutely does. Suze over Susie. Yeah, exactly. Well, Brian, I mean, what's your intent? I mean, that word's kind of got a negative connotation, though, doesn't it? Yeah, so, and I think that was your point. Why is it so hard to be courteous? Yeah, I mean, it's a courtesy. I get it. Other people are going to disagree, and that's something that's very debatable, but that's just kind of, I'm not here for political debate, but I'm here for, if someone's asking something as simple as that. I mean, if someone's asking me for, to live in my house for a month, I'm like, oh, I'm not sure that can happen, but you're asking me to call you a particular name? Sure. No problem. I got no problem with that. So, I got absolutely no problem with that. Yeah, we're flipping around. There are too many pronouns. Well, yeah, I'm learning constantly. There's new things, but I'm always learning. So, Arizona will be next to bring charges. That's the rumor, Michael. That's the rumor. That's the big question. We will find out. There's a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions about that. I think a lot of different people have different views on what order things are going to go. But we've definitely got some dominoes going down, I think. Is a fifth indictment really possible? Absolutely. At this point, I think anything is possible. All bets are off at this point. We are really in a situation where anything is possible. Always be learning, absolutely. Wouldn't Arizona be awesome? It would be very interesting. Georgia wants to move fast. Yeah, she's requesting that trial pretty quick. Was it March? Was she requesting for March? I'm not completely sure because we've got DC being requested in January, and then I think this one was March. Bryce, I'm not sure what your purpose is, but whatever it is, you're going to need to take your purpose somewhere else. Thank you kindly. March 25th. Okay. Yeah, I was wondering. Yeah. Oh, your primary's in March. Okay, very good. Yeah, we've got, what is it? I think we've got the caucuses in January, and then we've got New Hampshire's. Primaries are the first ones, so we have a lot of things going down. Oh, there's just so much. It's really a lot. It's a lot. It's hard to keep track of all of it. I think somebody needs to put together a chart. I think someone had mentioned that last night, to put a chart together. A chart together. Learning and growing. Yeah, it's true. Absolutely. The day before Super Tuesday. That's right. Yeah, I mean, I just, no need to beat around the bush. Might as well just be straight up here. We got community guidelines. we got rules here. So, New Hampshire. Oh, really? Okay, excellent, Stephen. How will all these trials be coordinated? Very carefully. I don't know how it's all going to happen. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess. It's like a huge traffic jam. Love to point fingers. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting how all of this kind of comes down. And again, we've got so many people named here. So you want to go to law school, but you're 37, don't want to be the older person. Oh, you won't be. Miss Tracy, you absolutely will not be. Nope. We had a neurosurgeon in our class who happened to be the oldest and one of the best students, actually. We all went to him for information. They'll do Georgia first. It's possible. Can a felon serve as president? I think technically, as long as it's not sedition or treason, but I think that's definitely controversial. Can't prove you're not guilty by finding someone else who did so. That's so true. Yeah. I mean, just because one person didn't get charged, that doesn't really have anything to do with anything. Yes. Is this official? I'm not sure what you mean by official. The trial date, I think it's been requested. I haven't seen any court documents about it, but it's been discussed quite a bit. I think that's been the big thing. Oh, Geo. Is it Geo or is it Glow? Sorry about that. Oh, thanks. Yeah, we try to keep it, good, constructive, discussing things here. So Glow she is. Okay, yeah, I do try. Has this been legally filed? No, this is the grand jury indictment out of Georgia. So yeah, No, I'm not going to go through the whole thing again, Scarlett. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's a lot. It's a lot. Nope, I'm just kind of popping on here to just, I had a couple of First Amendment questions with a bill in Michigan that I thought was really fascinating. I wanted to kind of share that with everyone and kind of touch base with everyone. Tomorrow will be my big live where I really will be sitting down, and I think overall I did a bit of a poll on whether or not we wanted to do stand your ground or Second Amendment cases, and I think it's heavily has leaned towards doing the stand your ground doctrine. And so what I'm putting together is a lecture to explain how stand your ground works in our self-defense doctrines, and then putting in the case law to kind of supplement it. So that'll be tomorrow night. We'll be going through how stand your ground works, because I think it's really been misunderstood. Oh, I know. Miss Ruby, I know. Oh, yeah. That was bad for her. That was really bad for her. I do hope she goes forward with litigation, kind of takes care of that. What time tomorrow? Same time, 6 o'clock Central Time. I'll be on then, and it'll be a longer one. I will be all completely set up for that. But it will be, we have a couple of different self-defense doctrines in the United States. And so I've got a map of which states have stand your ground versus which one you have to run away, and the castle doctrine and so on. So I'll be going into that and just kind of explaining it so everyone's got a really good idea. It's being abused in states that have that law. Absolutely. It is completely misunderstood, completely. So do you have a YouTube of this? I do. You can go, Lainey, sure, you bet. You can go up onto my YouTube. I've got quite a few posts up there for anyone that's interested. So network needs to hire me for the trials. I don't know. I really like being Duty to retreat. Yeah. I really like kind of being a independent kind of, on the outside looking in as opposed to, having any any kind of problems. It's nice being a free agent. I appreciate that. So, uh, oh yeah. And and I've heard too that the jail there, the county jail is not particularly pleasant, which, most county jails aren't, but this one is particularly unpleasant. I do have my own shingle, Susan. I hold on to that shingle with both hands, and I'm thankful for it. The freedom is amazing. Have you looked into 1-422? No? Is that a particular code section? I have not looked in that. Tosh, it's awful. Really? Oh, no. I just hate to hear that overall, though. I mean, I understand that, there's a lot of angst going on, but I think for anyone that has to go into a jail like that is pretty bad. Goes inside the courtroom, they turn themselves in. I think so. Because, again, we're in the state, and they've got their own kind of rules that they've got set out. Yeah, it'd be state prison in Georgia, yeah. It's being investigated by the DOJ. Okay, I thought I had heard something. Stand your ground is out of hand. Yes, exactly. You're right. Super califragilistic. You're right. It's a problem. It's a doctrine that is so misunderstood. So it's one of those that I do regularly offer as a seminar topic, and so I thought it would be helpful. Yeah, sorry about that, Dr. Super delicious. There we go. I got you now. I got you. But I think it's a good topic for everyone to kind of freshen up on or revise, have a back to basics. So let's see. Rudy Giuliani referenced that U.S. code in the news interview. Interesting. Okay, what was it? It was 28 U.S. code 1-441. I'll have to look it up. I will have to look it up because that's interesting. Anytime we've got code sections being referenced, being cited, it's fascinating. Yeah, if he goes to prison in Georgia, what happens to the other cases? Well, we keep going. I mean, anytime we've got defendants in multiple jurisdictions, we just kind of haul them over to the other jurisdiction and take care of the trials there, and then haul them back, and then they serve out their sentences in, whatever order, first come, first serve kind of situation. Rosie, Giuliani's broke. I think I saw that too. I saw that he was telling them that he had gone, he had no money. Do you remember, Greta? I don't. CNN OJ letter. Lawyer, I don't. My knowledge of the OJ Simpson case is just from what I've read. I was not really in a place where I could understand what was going on there. But he said the Georgia attorney doesn't know what she's doing. He claims to be all knowing. Yeah, and he's. I think that's part of his downfall. Honestly, is I think he thought he could get away with things because he was a part of it, but he was a part of the original situation, and things have evolved and they've changed quite a bit since then. Yeah, I think the statute of limitations runs on, a 25-cent pack of bubble gum, but insurrection, you got a little bit more time to bring those charges. Yeah. She tries RICO cases. She does. And I think that's really one of the reasons why she campaigns, is that this is kind of a specialty. Mickey Mouse charges. Well, Mickey Mouse won in Florida, so, he's doing something. Fanny loves RICO. I agree. They blew OJ's cases. Done. Okay. Oh, really? Okay. Well, that's interesting. Oh, my gosh, the COVID. Yes. Oh, Jared, I'd heard a little bit about that. Mickey Mouse is not backing down. He's really not. He's got things to do. He's got things to set up and knock down, and he's not messing around with that. He's got a whole bunch of people behind him, so mice and dogs and various other people. So we'll see how none of the indictments have anything to do with free speech or the First Amendment. Okay, Matt, sure. Yeah, no, we don't. Speech can be protected and covered by the First Amendment under the Constitution, but if you use speech to commit a crime, then you're going to be charged with that crime. We have lots of crimes that involve speech, like harassment and stalking, false statements, perjury, all of those involve speech and a criminal code section that's violated. So, hate crimes, absolutely, absolutely. Bribery, yep, excellent, excellent. Oh, good evening, Jordy. Yes, the doxing. Yeah, it took me a minute to really catch up on the doxing. Retired state employee enjoying it. Oh, okay, great, great. Alan Dershowitz said Georgia indictment is weak and has no merit. You know, I keep seeing this Dershowitz name. I'm not sure who that person is. I've seen it. I've seen it going around. Maybe I should do a little research on that. But, you know, I think every case has different strengths and weaknesses. And whenever you're in front of a jury, you've got a 50-50 shot. But, you know, if a grand jury's indicting, you've got something there. Oh, he defended Epstein. Oh, that's not good. That doesn't sound good for him. Used to be relevant. He no longer is. Oh, Harvard professor. All right. He's a Harvard guy. Got it. Okay, okay. Constitutional attorney. Okay, interesting. Oh, okay. He's a fox. Oh, butterflies, thank you. World famous lawyer. Well, just not in my world, Paul. I guess my world is looks a little different with no Mr. Dershowitz in it. He's a liberal? Okay, interesting. Well, he verbalized her election was wrong. Really interesting. That surprises me. World famous for scandals? Interesting. Used to be all over the TV. Ted Cruz also went to Harvard? Yeah. You know, Harvard's, yeah. Harvard is what it is. Doing grand jury participation should be a felony if it is. Doing grand jury What? Doing a grand jury participant? Oh my gosh, that took me a minute. Really famous lawyer. Yeah, I kind of stay out of the superstar, Harvard shade. Listen, let me tell you a little story. Let me tell you a little something about the Yale, Princeton, Harvard world. Let me tell you a little something about that. He also defended OJ. Just because you go to Harvard doesn't mean it's true, Olga. It's true. Here's the deal. Let me tell you a little something about the Ivy Leagues. Yeah, I got props to the Ivy Leagues. I get it. You spend a heck of a lot of money. But as I've always told my students when I teach, the law that they teach there is the same law that we teach. It doesn't matter where you're at. It's the same law. The contract and offer acceptance, and you've got a contract. It's all the same law. So what it does is it opens doors for you. And I think that's great. If those doors can open and help you, fantastic. But, it's still the same law. So, and I don't mind telling a group of Princetonians. I remember I had a friend who went to Princeton, and I went to his graduation. And we were sitting at a table with a very, very, very successful attorney who had gone to Princeton for his undergrad. And, I had originally started actually at a community college. And so at the time I was in a community college, and he was going, la, 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 la. And I was like, yeah, I'm in a community college. And he's like, oh, good for you. And I'm like, uh-huh. And we were talking. The more I talked to him, I'm like, wait a minute, you're really not that smart, dude. And after I talked to him for longer, and he started becoming more real and started explaining, like, it's all the same. Like, you're getting there. It's all the same. I was like, wait a minute, you are. I appreciate that. So anyway, I digress, but you have a Black's Law Dictionary. Great. Webster's is good too. So she said it's the same law, but it opens doors. Yeah, exactly. It does open doors. And, if you spend that kind of money, it should open some doors. It should open some doors with some diamond handles, because that's what you're paying for. And I think that's great. Yeah, people do get big heads. They do. And I think people that even just graduate from any law school can get big heads. And I think that that's unfortunate, It's a clique. Yeah, it is. And don't get me wrong. There's some incredibly intelligent, amazing people. Again, my very, very dear friend of mine is from Princeton, and his wife was from Princeton, and they're both amazing, fantastic people, very, very successful in their world. But, yeah, it's fine. You could still have an amazing career in life without going to Harvard. You can with it. You can without it. It's fine. It's your choice. The draft was exactly the same. Yeah, it was. Yeah, you do get into trouble. And I think Rudy's a good example of someone who just, you know, thought he knew everything, which happens a lot, and thought he could get away with everything, and that's not necessarily, you know, it's not going to happen. Obama went to Harvard. Yeah, and I think didn't Michelle go also? Was it Harvard? I don't know. I'm terrible with this, but you know, yeah, they've got high ranks. That's great. I love that for them. But you know, not everybody needs to do that. And you know, okay, yeah. Oh, she went there too. Yeah, I mean, great, good for them. That's fabulous. But it's fine. You don't have to. Oh, absolutely, you can be an idiot. You can. Yeah, oh, they met there. Okay. Well, yeah, see? And so that's great. We love that. We love that for them. But, you know, again, you just don't. It's the same law. And, you know, again, these basic concepts that we go through, it's the same Constitution, all of it's the same. It's just, you know, you're paying a heck of a lot more for coffee. Not impressed with the Ivy League. I mean, I'm not trying to put anybody down, but I'm just saying, if you can't, I couldn't resist it. If you can't make it to Harvard, if you can't make it to law school, it doesn't mean you're not incredibly intelligent or that you don't know about the law, is what I'm trying to say. It's just, you know, you don't have to have it. You don't have to. Did I go to Harvard? Oh, no. No. I actually chose my law school based off of location. The location was very important to me. Can you show us the Volstead Act? Oh, that would be interesting. That would be a very interesting topic. I will put it on my list. We all put our pants on the same. Well, no, I'm not sure about that, Emerald. Not sure. Yeah, the name. And, you know, there are some great bits and bobs that come with Ivy League schools. You know, there are a lot of great things. But, you know, I mean, it doesn't mean that you are any better or worse at the law just because you went to a different school. So, yeah, I try not to get into the corporation talk. Common sense, biggest school of life. Oh, that's so true, Stephen. That's so true. Yes, I've heard of the Volstead Act. Yeah, and I think it's interesting. But, you know, I'm not sure. I would have to set out a time to really go through that. But my understanding wasn't that the one that was what kind of helped us figure out prohibition wasn't going to work? Is that, am I remembering that correctly? Like we knew that prohibition was not enforceable? Shout out to the moderators. Oh, yeah, we've got some. Oh my gosh, yeah, we've got some. We've got a few on tonight. I'm just kind of doing a lightning round here quick. I think so. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I could look at that. I could definitely look at that. Yes, you're doing great, mods. You're doing so good tonight. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Not street smart. Thankfully, his wife is. It's nice to have one. It's nice to have somebody around you that's got some street smarts. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's good. Yeah, I learned a lot, you know, before I went to school, for sure. My significant other has a very, very long education, very high level education. And that most certainly does not translate into, you know, being intelligent in all areas of life. I'm just going to put that out there. I'll just leave that there. Do you know about the... No, I don't. Cross of gold. Everyone's being respectful. Yes, I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. Again, we're just kind of doing a little bit of a lightning round here. What happened with it? Yeah, she didn't know anything about it because it was a clerical error. And that happens all the time in the legal system. This is what it is. It was just a clerical error. Somebody pushed a button too quickly and it got put through before it was ready, and that was really it. Cats or dogs? I don't know. Depends on the mood. Cats, if I want to have myself taken care of after I pass away, I'm sure the cats will come for me. But dogs, if you want someone friendly. Love them both. Yes, thank you. Yeah, we've had some vicious ones in here. Yeah, I think, well, attorneys should be both-sided. That's how we're treated. Can you show us the 18th Amendment? Yeah, prohibition. Sure. The illegality of intoxicating liquors. You bet. Here we go. Right here. 1 year, 1 year after the ratification of this article, manufacture, sale, or transportation of intoxicating liquors within the importation thereof or the exportation thereof from the United States and all territories subject to this jurisdiction thereof for beverage purposes. So if you need it for cleansing, that's fine, but beverage purposes is hereby prohibited. Yep. So that is our 18th Amendment, which was overdone, taken away essentially by the 21st Amendment. Absolutely. Random person. Yeah, the bootlegging law, very interesting. A lot of great cases out of that time period, but definitely a completely unenforceable law. Great example of that. I've studied a lot. Yeah, I've studied a lot. And studying didn't come easy to me, but I spent, it was worth it. So it's like saying freedom of opinion, plain English. Freedom of speech just means the government can't make a law to hinder your ability to speak. That's really what it's about. At least step back and think about the early release of the indictment being intentional. No, I don't think so. I don't think any of that. I don't, honestly, just as an attorney, I've been doing this for a really long time, and we file stuff accidentally all the time. Didn't even cross my mind. Not one bit. Just thought, whoops, somebody hit the wrong button. That's the first thing and only thing that came through my mind. Yeah, the key is the government. Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard Arizona's in the list. Yeah, and I'm wondering too if Michigan's got some things going on. Again, because they've already made a few charges, so they've already got an investigation. Now show the 21st. Right. Sure, let's get into that for a minute. And in between, we have the 19th and the 20th, but here's the 21st. The 18th article of amendment to the Constitution is hereby repealed. So 21st repealed it. This case will fail, perhaps, but a grand jury found probable cause, so we go forward. We go forward on that. Nevada should as well. Yeah. Is this a good case? I think it's been investigated incredibly well. Will it pass a jury beyond a reasonable doubt? That I can't tell you. Again, we've always got 50-50 shot. Can we be prosecuted for soliciting felonies and acting on felonious behavior? Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Those are crimes. Where can I get a copy of the Constitution? Oh, this copy. I think it's online. I think other people have been able to find it online at just wherever they sell. It's this one is, let me see here. It's Applewood Books. I picked this up at the Little White House in Key West years ago, so it's got a seal on it, but I think you can just find it online. Amazon. Okay, thanks, Hawk. Jury's more in doubt than the case. Yeah, and I don't know why. Second Amendment is the militia. Watch the proceedings. Will be pay-per-view. Oh no, I think it's completely public. Oh, Office Depot. Okay, I haven't heard that in a while. 5 copies after. Oh yeah, it's good to have. I've got different copies all over the place. So just to remind me, what's the likelihood the states could work together in a case? We don't really work together very well. Just saying. I think we're kind of, we're friendly with each other, but we don't necessarily work together. We really just are very focused on our own jurisdictions and taking care of our own cases. So, can you explain how they already knew how the grand jury was, was boring? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about there. You should get a copy of the Federalist Papers. I've got a copy of the Federalist Papers. Yep. Thoughts on Meadows wanting to change? Normal, absolutely. Don, I would have been surprised if he hadn't. I'd have been surprised if the question of taking it into federal court wasn't asked. I think it's just a classic thing that we always do whenever we try to drag out a case or to kind of get this case out of the way. So typical, normal move. Thoughts on presidents stating they've sold? Yeah, that's not good, Chelsea. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't sell state secrets. But also you need evidence in order to charge somebody with a crime. What will get done about? I'm not sure. I have concerns about the grand jury. I really do. I think the fact that that information's been leaked with all of that data and people having that potential to go after them, I think really says a lot about the people who are supporting this indictment being false. Racketeering, hard to prove. Not necessarily. Racketeering's not actually that hard to prove because you need an enterprise, a group of people with a common goal, and then 2 or more acts. And that's actually what makes it not necessarily easy, but it definitely gives a lot more wiggle room to prove because, again, we only need 2 or more acts. And here they've listed 161, so that's a lot for the jury to pick from. It affects state, federal agents. Letting felonies or federal is real. Yeah, okay. Any idea what happened to... Nope. I do not know their names. Yeah. VC, I was really surprised by that, but I guess, if it's Georgia law, they gotta do what they do, so, that's kind of how it was. The question of taxpayer money for Secret Service in jail, I don't know if you remember, but, before Mr. Trump when he became President Trump and went into the White House, wasn't it like 6 months before the First Lady joined him? So there was some discussion about how much money was being spent on the Secret Service during those 6 months. So, I think we just understand that we're going to be paying the Secret Service. Yeah. We just pay. That's just what we do. Yeah, this organized crime situation is fascinating. Again, you've got this group of people trying to get together to accomplish a goal. I'm not sure how long it'll take. If you look at her prior cases, we can get some idea, but yeah. Oh, how am I doing? I'm doing okay. We've got a little spice in our comments tonight, but I just don't know. I'm taking suggestions, everybody. I've made a video about it. I'm trying so hard to put it up here online as much as I possibly can. What can I do? What can I do to make people understand that this is just a clerical error, that it's not going to it has absolutely no influence? Who is out there continuing to say it? I'm just curious because I can't figure it out. It's just a clerical error. Anybody that works in the legal field knows that. We've all done it. We've all seen it. It happens. It just is part of the process. You can't. They're convinced. Okay. They don't want to know the truth. Okay. All right. Fair enough. They're saying it on Fox. Okay. All right. So, all right. Oh my goodness gracious. I was wondering, I keep thinking, like, where is this coming from? I'm having a meltdown over it. Yeah, and the only thing it shows to any person who works in the legal field, what that shows is people who have no idea how the legal system works. Can you give more information about the RICO Act? Sure. Georgia's got its own act, and it's really patterned after the federal act. And it was put together essentially to take down organized crime and gang activities. So what you need are a group of people. So you need one person plus, I think, maybe 2 or 3 more people together, and they have an enterprise. And that doesn't mean it's an LLC. It doesn't mean it's an organization that's been registered. It just means that all together they're forming this common goal, and they're setting out racketeering activities in order to achieve that goal, which are these acts that have been listed out in here. And if 2 or more of those illegal acts, the racketeering acts, have been found to have occurred by the jury, then they're going to be able to ding you on RICO. So what they'll need to find that it was an enterprise, meaning everybody was coming together to achieve a common goal, a common purpose, that there were multiple people involved, and that illegal acts were being done. Those are the elements. And then if those are found, then you get dinged on that RICO charge. That's how the act works. You can also go civil as well. Presenting the overt acts as crimes, making it look like he's indicted for tweeting. No. Oh my goodness gracious. So, oh my goodness. So we've got number 1, which includes all of the acts, right? But then we have counts 2 through 41. 2 through 41 are all of the Georgia state law violations. So even if for some reason they don't find, RICO, for some reason they're like, no, we don't think that there wasn't really a common goal. I don't know, hypothetically. And they toss 1. We still have counts 2 through 41 under Georgia law that can go forward. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's just completely false information. It's just absolutely false. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Julie in his interview made a big deal about the clerk error. Well, Amanda, I mean, that's a huge, huge red flag. If anyone's talking about the clerical error, it's a red flag that they know nothing about the legal system or they don't know anything more current because attorneys who were working in the legal system before everything went electronic, they may say, wow, this got filed wrong because how can you give a hard copy piece of paper to a clerk and have it misfiled? Because it happens with the electronic filing, which came into play about, 20 years ago. So I think if you've not been filing stuff in the last 20 years, you may think it's a big deal. But in the reality, for everyone who has been filing for the last 20 years, it's just very common. It happens all the time. In fact, our clerks call us and complain to us all the time. Like, you filed this wrong. And if you're in a smaller community, the clerk of court, it's very common for the clerk to just call you up and be like, this was wrong, right? We got to take it down. It's like, oh, darn it. Yeah, misclicking a destination. That's exactly right. Or they're acting like the clients. Yeah, to spin it. I guess they just don't have anything else at the point. But, this is such a weak... a clerical error, it's such a weak issue. Even bad warrants can still go forward if there's a clerical error. Now that's a pretty serious clerical error. If you put the wrong address on a warrant, even that can be seen as a harmless error. But here we just have a piece of paper that was filed incorrectly. It's fine. It's fine. Yep. Yeah, mistrial. What? There's just no basis whatsoever for that. They can ask for a bill of particulars. They can say there isn't probable cause. They can challenge the indictment on so many different levels. There are pretrial conferences. They can say there's not enough probable cause. All of these are legitimate, great ways to go forward and challenge an indictment. But to claim there was a clerical error, that's like, no. That's just not, that's not, put your effort towards the other motions. Put your other motions together and try to, try to go win on those. But, don't pin on your hopes on a clerical error. Yeah, I think so. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm trying. Yeah, if there's probable cause, bring it on. Whoever's got probable cause needs to be charged. Could something they do or say now be considered evidence? It could be added. It could be added on, but it would have to be added into the indictment later if they're going to use it as evidence to prove these charges, or else they will file new charges. So any evidence supporting these would have to be added on, but if it's a new, different code section, they would file a new indictment. Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah. Yep. Fox has dumbed down half this country. Rosie, I'm not sure what they're doing over there, but if it's a clerical error, that's not wrong. You subscribed? Oh, thank you. Thank you, Snappy Squid. Appreciate that. If other evidence is found, can it be added? If it's evidence to support the charges that have already been charged, they will need to put in additions so that to make sure that it's added on if they're going to use it in their case in chief, which is unlikely at this point. They've got so much already for their probable cause. They don't really need to do that. But if it's a new charge that's come because of new information gathered during the discovery period, that would be new charges that would be charged separately. What kind of political damage could come of the RICO Act being broken? That's a good question. I think a lot of people just don't understand what the RICO Act is. Like, I barely understand it, and I've been studying it. It's difficult to understand. But the implication that it has to do with organized crime and gang activity, I think that's got a negative connotation. Oh, thank you, Trey. Thank you. I do try. I get a bit snarky once in a while, but I do try. I try my best to kind of stay up on things with everyone. Fox was playing the silly bear videos. Oh my goodness. Well, that's what you do. That's what you gotta do. I guess I just don't. Thoughts on Mark Meadows trying to move this case? I think it's a classic, Brianna. I think it's a classic move. I think it's the absolute, we all would do that. If I got charged like this, which, let me just pause and say that wouldn't happen. But if I was, I'd remove it to federal court. I'd try to remove it to federal court. If I got charged on anything that could even hint of federal court, I would try to remove it. There's all kinds of benefits in going through the process of trying to remove it to federal court. So absolutely, great strategy. What's the topic here? We're kind of all over the place. We started off understanding that the First Amendment and the Michigan hate law is okay, but then we've kind of moved into questions, kind of a lightning round about the Georgia grand jury indictment. So I'm just hopped on for a little bit tonight to kind of check in with everyone. But, and then I've got so many great questions coming up. I have to talk about it. So many great questions. Sure, you're welcome. Absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of things going on. There are a lot of things. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Talking about the lies. Well, I mean, it's just, I'm just saying that a clerical error is not going to be the reason why you dismiss a grand jury indictment. That's not going to be it. There are a lot of reasons, and that's really not the one you want to pin your hopes on. I'm just saying. So just putting that out there. Do you think he'll be successful getting it moved to the federal? I don't think so, because I think this district attorney has a lot of experience with her RICO cases. And so she knows how to charge it. I'm sure many times has had people try to remove it before, so she knows what she needs to do. Where are we with the Stormy Daniels hush money? Great question. We had, I believe, I'm not sure. I get that one mixed up with the defamation case against his former attorney, and then his former attorney suing him for defamation or attorney's fees. I get them mixed up a little bit with New York, but it's still ongoing, that one and the civil case. I think the civil case is like $250 million that the people of New York are suing him for. So he's not guilty as long as he shows even one case of, wait. What about the belief that he is not guilty as long as he shows even one case of fraud? No, I mean, that's, I think if he had pinned all of the hopes on one case of fraud and then somehow came up with evidence that nobody else in the entire world or country could find to prove that one case of fraud, yeah, we could talk about it. But we've got so many cases here of so many statements of voter fraud that were false. One situation where, maybe the decimal point was moved over one spot. I just can't even see it. Isn't always the best thing. Yeah, I agree, Rob. I agree. It's not always the best thing, but it certainly is good for kind of drawing things out, tangling things up is where it ran the hush money. Yeah. And Laura, the big piece in the Stormy Daniels case was that he was claiming he was doing it. I mean, one of my favorite parts was that he was claiming he was doing it within his official capacity. And the judge was like, this was not in your official capacity. So the judge kind of knocked him back on that. But it's an interesting case. It's an interesting case. I don't really go into it too much because of the content. You can't question anything. Oh, I question everything. I question absolutely everything. I think everybody should. Ask all the questions all the time. Ask. Found guilty yet wins the election. I think there's going to be a lot of legal filings after that. I think a lot of people will have some things. And I think they're probably already in the hopper right now. I think they're already brewing them up. You can't keep a former president's indictment straight in your head. Yeah, it's a lot. It really is a lot. I struggle to keep all the cases. We've got the wrongful death cases. We've got the class action suit. We've got the corporation cases. I mean, it's a lot. Fact check everything. Absolutely, Rosie. Absolutely everything. Fact check me. Fact check everything I've ever said ever in my whole life. Fact check it all. Fact check everybody. Don't question your RICO lyrics. Your flow is... Oh, good for you, Raymond. Keep going with those lyrics. Love that. More coming. That's the rumor. That is the rumor. Fifth indictment. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. If it does come down, we will see. I'm trying desperately to kind of turn slightly my content and kind of get back into the groove again. But of course, if anything comes up, got to come and talk about it. So, oh yeah, Mark, I think that's a very fair statement. I think that's a very, very fair statement. Yeah, there's just a lot going on. There's so many charges. Will double jeopardy come into play? No, great question though, Tanya, forgive me if I said your name incorrectly, but no, as long as every code section is different and every jurisdiction is different, there's no double jeopardy issues, but I'm sure they're being very careful about it. Will the unidentified co-conspirators be identified, or can they stay anonymous? They can't stay anonymous. It's possible. Although I have a feeling that once they start testifying and that's all public, that will no longer be the case. Haha, dragon. Not legal advice, legal education. Yep. Another kangaroo court, perhaps. Perhaps. You might mean Mickey Mouse Court. I've heard that one tonight too. So can he actually spend time in prison for this? Under these charges, if he is we've got mandatory minimum 5 years, I believe. So, it sounds like it's possible. Rico said, knock you out. Seriously, I'm loving that. I want to hear the song lyrics when it's done. Me too. Wouldn't the states have same charges? They would. That's why there's such a great question about whether or not and who all is going to be involved in charging more. None of these are illegal, the prosecution said. I'm not sure which prosecution you're talking about, because this prosecutor said they're illegal, hence why they were charged 7 years. Well, maybe. What don't you like about the Georgia indictment? I think they did a pretty good job, honestly. I think they did a good job. I think the organization makes sense to them, and I see where they're coming from. It's a little bit clumsy, but again, I think for what it is, it's well written. It's well done. I don't have any problems with it. Any chance he'll go to military jail since he knows state secrets? Oh, good question. And no, I doubt it. No, I don't think so. Hillary's emails, really? Did somebody find them? You think Arizona will go after an indictment? Yes, I do. And in fact, I'm surprised that Michigan has not. I'm honestly, based off of the information that was in the DC indictment and the information set out here, I really thought Michigan would be next. He won't go to jail. Well, maybe not. I don't think for some people, I think that's important if he goes to jail or not, but I don't think that that's really what's essential here. What's essential is we've got crimes charged. Did he commit the crimes? I mean, that's what the trial is for. So, am I being snarky? Sorry. Prosecutors lie all the time. Typical. Well, if they lie all the time, every single prosecutor in the entire United States, this entire criminal justice system, then, we've got a problem. I think we'll build. Oh, I don't know. That's a great question. I think asking for that special trailer it's an interesting idea. I don't know what the judge is going to say about that. You're not crybabies. That's for sure. They're in Michigan. Oh my gosh. Absolutely. You're fielding questions. Well, I do have training. I have been trained. Oh, but yeah, that's pretty hardy stock there in Michigan. That's for sure. Absolutely for sure. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how it's going to. Yeah, I mean, we've got probable cause here. We don't have a finding of guilt beyond reasonable doubt. We don't have a finding of guilt, but we do have probable cause here. So, what are the consequences he has to face if he's guilty? If he can go on like normal. I don't think, and that's such a great question. Otherwise known as not normal, but I can appreciate that name. I can really appreciate that. Nothing will ever be the same again for this man. No matter what happens, even if somehow everything, all these cases, I mean, we've got like binders of cases. If everything somehow, after years and years of litigation, comes out and is like, oh, you're fine. This man will never be the same again. there's just too much. There's too much. And I've noticed too, I mean, his entire point isn't, I didn't do it. His point was I was allowed to do it. And so that level of accountability and his idea that, and based off of his own statements is what I'm basing this off of, saying, I was allowed to do that. I could ask these questions. I could make these statements. I could do these kinds of things. The fact that he's being held accountable to that, he's never going to be able to fully process the fact that he did something wrong. And I think that will mess with him for the rest of his life. Am I the people's attorney? We'll see. Yeah, I don't know about that. Again, I have no ill intent whatsoever towards anybody. Well, that's not true. There's a particular couple of groups of people that I'm not fans of, and I won't go too far into that. But in this situation, I'm certainly not trying to be, negative about that. What happens, happens. But if you break the law, you have to kind of own up to it. Did you ever watch Night Court? Of course. Yeah, January 6th, Rosie, forever, burned into my brain. Yet he will still be able to serve as president. I don't know, though. I think there's so much paperwork that can be filed. You're a biased as can be. Oh, I don't know. I think there's a lot more biased people than me out there. You can see the bottom of my floor. Hold on. No, that's not true. Is it? Seriously? Can you see? Can you see? LA Law. Classic. Hold on. I'm being super careful. Zero excuses for them. I agree. Okay, good. Thank you. Oh my gosh. I'm like so paranoid now. I'm so paranoid. I can't see the legs. Oh my gosh. I tell you what, my mother was like, hon, what you doing? I'm like, I don't know, Mom. Oh, no, Toast. Thank you so much. I've really rearranged everything. I've got, I've got a lot. Oh, yes. I mean, it's hilarious because, it was my shirt. All right. I should be well out of frame. Yeah, exactly. Just find me 11,000 votes. Who does that? You don't get to do that. I mean, you just don't get to do that. And it was recorded. He's like, oh, I was just joking around. I'm like, I don't think you can even joke around about that stuff. Exactly. Oh, otherwise known as not normal. Absolutely. I agree with you 150%. Everybody needs to own that. Every single politician, I don't care which side you're on. Absolutely. Accountability for everybody. Love this background. It makes a oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yes. I've got this I make mistakes. I learn from my mistakes. I do better. That's the life goal. Am I married? Asking for a friend. I am married. I am very married. I'm quite married. So yes. It's interesting how many people have been kind of messaging me various things. I'm like, I'm not taking any applications. Nope, but thanks, but no. Have I heard anything on Lindsey Graham? Not yet. I've heard a lot of people asking questions about him, but I've not heard any details. What takes precedent, federal sentence or state? They're going to kind of have to battle that out. Usually states will say, to the feds, take it and run with it. But in this kind of a situation, they're really going to want that accountability for what's happened in their state in particular. So they're going to kind of go round and round. Typically, it's kind of a first come, first serve situation. Whoever sets the sentence down first is the first sentence, and then after that comes the next one. So it really just depends. But yes, I'm very married. I'm taken. Yes. Did he get his license removed? I thought he had been suspended. I thought that had happened. I thought I had read that somewhere. That he had been suspended. And a couple of other ones. I think Eastman, too, was in a bit of a pickle. Make a political statement. In New York. Okay, thanks, Paul. Thanks for letting us know. Yeah, I was wondering about that. Yeah, Rudy. Yeah, I can't. He lost his license in 2 states. Okay, I had wondered about that. I knew I had seen something, but I wasn't quite sure. There is another person who is on TikTok who is a very interesting creator, and I think it's like family law in New York family law. He had just changed his name recently, but he does some very interesting posts on what's going on in New York when it comes to that. So I don't have brown hair dye. Oh my goodness. That's so bad. Oh my gosh. I remember some of the requests made by Jodi Arias in prison and just could not live that down for years. Would they be able to do concurrent for state and federal consideration? It would be unusual. Again, each one, they really do really exist in their own world. They do not cross over. There's no kind of crossing of the lines there when it comes to federal and state. They really take care of it. Like, you need to go serve your time, and then everything else is kind of put on hold until that time is served. Yes, a t-shirt. I need to get a t-shirt. I don't know how he ever prosecuted anyone. I know, that's a great question. I don't know either. And I think maybe back in the day it was fine. I mean, he was honest. I mean, he was America's mayor, right? I mean, it's just amazing when you have that high of a level of belief in yourself that you think you are just untouchable, and nobody is untouchable. Oh, yes, I'm just doing questions at this point, Q&A. Sorry, I've been on here for a while. I'm just doing Q&As, but I do have a Tube of You channel that I go through everything, and also other Q&As. Do the feds have truth in sentencing? I'm not sure what you mean by that. I think I had suspicions when didn't he ask for, I hate to get catty, but wasn't he asking for a divorce at some point in some really uncomfortable circumstances? I think that was a moment where I was like, that's a little shady. That was my moment of saying, we may not know everything that there is to know about this particular person. Merch, yes, merch. I need to. He was a tough prosecutor during the height of his career. He absolutely was. He did some good work. Some people said he was too tough, but do you have to do all your time with the feds? I'm not sure. And that's such a great question. I'm not really sure how the federal system works. With that, I have not put anyone in prison at the federal level, only the state level. I've never sent anyone to a federal prison, so I just don't know. Let me see. Yeah, it looks like you can get good behavior in federal prison as well, but I'm not. Let's place my sound machine at night. Oh my goodness. Thank you. That is so sweet. That is so sweet of you to say that. No parole at the federal level. Okay. 85% minimum. Okay. Yeah, Bryce, that sounds about right. Well, that's really sweet of you to say that. Yes, that's so sweet of you to say that. My mother is deaf, and so she's got the closed captionings on, and she's like, how can you keep talking for 5 hours? I'm like, Mom, it's a gift. It's a gift. Oh, my goodness. Yes. Oh, yes. Nail polish colors. Oh, yeah. I should do that. I should get some nail polish merch going out. He did use the RICO Act, and he was pivotal in getting the RICO Act done. Do I know ASL? I know old school ASL. My ASL is like, Old English, I guess. It's like Shakespearean sign language back in the old days. I prefer the more current ASL, but my mom is very prim and proper, so I think sometimes it's okay to kind of be a bit archaic. Yours is too. Yeah. I think, we're kind of going by the wayside, but did I miss anything at all? Can you please? Yes. Sorry. Yeah, I came on earlier talking about First Amendment House Bill 4474, which was in Michigan. talking about hate crimes. And so we talked about that a little bit. And now we're just I'm doing kind of a lightning Q&A on the Georgia indictment that came out and just kind of going over different questions that we've had. So that's really it. Right now I'm just kind of doing a Q&A. I will have this posted up on the Tube of You channel, of course, but Midwest Army. Oh, yes, with my Shakespearean sign language. Oh my goodness. But yeah, that's really it. I'm just kind of just on for a little bit of a Q&A tonight. Tomorrow's going to be we're going to do a midnight indict. I've got a full presentation I'm putting together for tomorrow, which will start at 6 Central Time. And we're going to be going through this Stand Your Ground doctrine, duty to retreat, the Castle Doctrine, and then including some of the most important Second Amendment case law in there. So that will be tomorrow night. So that will be a big one. I just kind of hopped on tonight just to kind of go a little bit into this interesting House bill that Michigan had. I wanted to talk about that a little bit and also just clarify that just because the document's accidentally filed doesn't mean the entire indictment's thrown out. So kind of going on that. What will they do about the doxing and threats to grand jury? You know, Jess, I've got concerns too. I'm concerned for sure. I hope that they get things sorted out. It seems like with the security that was at the courthouse, like there is known this idea that there could be problems. So I think they've got the structure in place to take care of it. I'm just hoping that they enforce it. All new territory, learning it's hard to charge police. Yeah, it is. I think a lot of information that, we in the legal profession thought everybody knew is really not that common knowledge. And so we're learning too that, we most certainly have not made things transparent and easy to understand for other people. That's a huge learning moment for all of us. For sure. It's been an issue. Yeah, no mistrial. Nope, none of that going on. Nope. Clerical errors happen all the time. One more. Here's Slade Gray. Oh my goodness. All right, that's the winner. Here's Slade Gray. Oh my gosh. Oh, thank goodness. I know. Yeah, no, clerical error. And I get it. It's being pushed really hard. It's being pushed real hard. This idea that this accidental filing is going to toss the whole case, but it's not. No. It happens all the time. All the time. So it's perfectly normal. That's why too, the prosecutor probably was, when she has spoken about it, she's like, I don't even know anything about that because it's so low on her list of things to take care of or to be concerned about. Yes. Well, I think when I really need to get through something, Michael, when I really need to make sure that the content is out there, sometimes I'll drop the comments, but also so that my mods can just relax and hang out too, and they can just listen and they don't have to work so hard because they're working so hard. So I think that can really, really be helpful. And then to come back later and do a kind of a Q&A, and that seems to work really well. So I may be doing that again in the future, just to, again, give everyone a chance to just take in the information and then come back later with a Q&A. Yes, Raymond, for sure. Can you speak on look at that machine. Oh my goodness. Advisability of a mugshot. I think it really is jurisdictional, whatever's required in that jurisdiction in order to follow whatever their procedures are. They'll need to do that. I think it's just such a difficult moment in our history. Just the idea of a former president having a mugshot. I mean, this is a new point in history. So I'm not really sure how that's going to go. Yeah, it really is. It's horrible. It's horrible all the way around. It is, absolutely. I think, and we would all agree with that. We all wish that January 6th hadn't happened, that none of this had happened. And, that would have been better for sure. I thought the purpose of the mugshot was to have a record of someone who is not publicly known. There's a lot of reasons that they do mugshots, and that certainly is one of the biggest ones. But it's a procedural issue with however their jail books people in. So if it's their standard operating procedure, it's part of their protocol. So they just do that for everyone. thinks a few people need a hug in the chat. Oh, hugs! Hugs in the chat. Yes. Yeah, January 6th. I mean, it was huge. It was huge. Yes, and therapy. Therapy is your friend. Therapy is a very good friend. Certainly when you're dealing with issues of this nature. Free hugs. Yes, yay, love that. Yes, I am doing well. I am doing well. Yeah, and I think everyone really has their own need in order to see some kind of accountability. And for some people, it is handcuffs. It is a mugshot. That's what they need. For other people, it is a finding of guilt. For other people, it is jail time. So I think everyone kind of has their own way, their own things that they need in order to start the healing process, I think. And it's just all different. Will the state case go first? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how the schedule's coming down. It's looking like that DC case is really being pushed hard to be set out first. And I'm not sure if it's because of the caucuses. I'm not sure why, but the DC case looks like it's going to hit the docket first. But after that, I think Georgia's right up next. So I'm not sure. It's going to be televised. Yes, this one was requested for March. And then, of course, we've got May for Florida. So we've got that. And then New York, I'm not really sure. I'm not keeping my eyes too close on New York because a lot of other people are kind of covering that. You know, the whole situation, I think, with 2016. Hello, CJ. Welcome. With 2016, I think is really just... I think a lot of people thought after Al Gore in 2000 that they're like, wow, this could never happen again. And then 2016, we had this question of like, wait a minute, what? How did is this right? Can this be right? Again, with the popular vote. But we've had that problem over and over and over again. Since the 1800s, we've had issues with our popular vote in our electoral college. But I think the level of dignity that she's handled the situation with is really just, absolutely commendable. And think whatever you will about Miss Clinton. Think however you will. And I understand, but how she's handled this, I think, says something. Pretty amazing. Yeah, Watergate. I mean, again, we had a huge issue there. Think about the RICO case. I think it's interesting. I think they have 161 acts and they only need to prove 2 or more. She did just disappear. I think so. Am I done reading it? Yes, I am, Patty. Sorry. I wasn't reading it tonight. I'm just kind of doing a quick Q&A over it, but I do have it on my Tube of You channel. Yes, and I will be back tomorrow, 6 p.m. I am going to go through the Stand Your Ground doctrine and explain how that works, kind of clarify that. Can I ask how many cases he has in total against him from storming to January 6th? Anyone know? I think the last count was, just with him or with his company too. I'm not sure. We've got hundreds of cases going on. Watching in the UK. Oh, hey, welcome. 91 charges. Just with him. Okay, so I'm trying to think. I had it tallied up the other day. I think we were in this. We had 91 counts, but I don't think we have 91 cases. 91 charges, right? I think we had with civil and with criminal. Let me look. Pull up my. I've got a bookmark site right here. So just one moment. All right, let me pull this out because some have been settled. Some have already been taken care of. Five, six. Yeah, it looks like, I guess, with just him named or with him and co-defendants named, they're saying 6 here, but that doesn't seem right to me. Let me double check. All right, here's the website I've been using to kind of follow that. Let me just see here. Yeah, because because of the riots, we've got, whoa! Woo! Sorry. Whoopsie doos. Had some technical problems. I'm not sure. I'm firm to say 4 for sure. Other than that, my source just went down. Oh, sorry about that. Yes. Yeah. Oopsie. Yeah, I should know, but I've got. I'll show you how I keep track of it. This is how I keep track of it, and so you can tell that things get a little bit mixed up. Let me give you an example. So here's what I've got. I've got Trump in Florida. I've got Trump in DC here. This is Georgia. And then I have all these miscellaneous cases here. So I just don't have them all in one spot. So I'd have to go through and individually count them all. It's a lot. You got a lot going on. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I mean, I try to stay organized, but yeah, I mean, it's it's the binders. It's how I do it. Well, yeah, and that's not even all the paperwork. I mean, I've got, I still have this. I got a file still. This isn't even filed yet. Oh my goodness. I got to get on top of my stuff. Oh, it's a lot. It really is. So if I may need to get another binder if Arizona's going to get involved. We'll have to get another. I haven't set up Georgia yet, but yeah, binders full of things. It's, again, it's the biggest case that I think I will ever be a part of watching unfold in my lifetime. Can you make a video linking all the cases so we can get them? Well, let me double check real quick. I think let me just pull up my Tube of You channel. I had some problems uploading, but let me just double check here. I think the last one I just uploaded had, let me see. Okay, how to find Trump legal cases online. So, and that was one of my shorter videos. It's only an hour. Oh my goodness. But I go through a lot of the cases there, and the biggest cases. I set out the paperwork and the files on those, and then explain which terms to use in order to find them. So that was the most recent update. I will upload tonight's video, of course, too. So. And I had another one. I think I've got, yeah, that's the most recent one. So those are up. I've tried to make just a short video on where to find some of the other ones, but yes, VC. I mean, I don't know what I'd do without you. Yeah, I mean, we need to start highlighter ink. I just got back tonight before I went live and had just gotten another ink cartridge. I shook the toner so much in my other one, there's nothing left. And so I got another one and it's twice the size. So I'm hoping, we will see. But yes, and the strawberry cake. Yes. Sherry, it's interesting. It's an amazing exercise for my brain to go through all of this. So that's why it's fascinating to me and to be able to share with other people. It really just is a huge academic legal exercise. Yes. Oh, hi, Mama Nation. Yes. I had been going through the First Amendment and House Bill number 4474 out of Michigan regarding hate crimes. Talked about that a little bit, and then just doing kind of a quick Q&A over the Georgia indictment for anyone who had questions. And tomorrow will be my big presentation on the Stand Your Ground doctrine. So that will be tomorrow. So tonight I'm just kind of wrapping up here with some questions for anyone who may have heard some things today that they're uncomfortable with or not sure about. So, oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Can't believe the MyPillow guy. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with the MyPillow guy. Or Lindsey Graham. Oh, sure. Yeah, I'm any news. No, I've not heard. Well, I can't understand. Well, yeah, for me, it doesn't seem like, for me, I feel when I started looking through things and watching what was going on, I kept thinking like, do people not know this? And I didn't realize how inaccessible this kind of information is to people. And then I thought, well, why? Why is it inaccessible? And just wanted to kind of help out as best as I could. So he's in his own jail. He's in his own jail. Are those your... No. Oh, no. I met my future spouse when I was 17. And so we've been together for a very, very long time. Well, thank you. I'm glad. I'm hoping that it's educational, but never knew how to look up court documents. Yes, it's so great, isn't it? It opens up a whole new world to be able to understand how to find stuff and to look through it. Yeah, we were high school sweethearts, so to speak. I mean, it's a long story. I graduated high school early because I was like, I got stuff to do. And so I actually should have still been in high school, but I graduated early, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it's been a long, long time. A very long time, longer than either one of us want to admit. Yeah, well, and I tease because he's the only man that I ever let believe he actually won a conversation or an argument with me. I let him believe that sometimes, that he's won. Only one. Only one. Yeah, I was 17, but I was very mature. I was a very mature 17 is how he puts it. I was very mature. And it's true. I had my own place. I had everything I was living out on my own, everything. So I was really in my own world. Yeah, he did. Wait just 1 minute. No, it's fine. I let him think he's won sometimes. So no, he's not an attorney. He's actually a scientist. He is his doctorate is in genetics. So that's where his world is. And he has a pocket protector. Yes, he's got all of that. I think so. I think everyone should have access to the indictments, all of them, all of the indictments. I think it's very. Oh yeah, I mean, everybody loses all the time, of course, because of course I'm correct. I am in the central time zone, so I kind of leave that. Letting him win an argument is the love language. True, it's true. It really is. I mean, I don't think people understand how huge that is to allow someone to think that they've won. It's a big deal. Meanwhile, I'm like, okay, explain what a scleria is again. What's it? It's part of the eyeball? What? Oh, you're in Fulton County. How are you doing? How's everybody doing down there? That's got to be kind of stressful. Married a scientist last year. Oh, well, good for you, Sherry. Congrats. I love that. Wife can't stop herself. Well, I mean, come on. We can only go for so long. And then you just have to be like, seriously, is this what's happening right now? A lot of times I just ask him, I'm like, is this it? Is this the day that you're ready to go meet your maker? Is that going to be today? So that's kind of a classic. We do that. Yeah. We both have doctorates. So it can be uncomfortable for others around us. Yeah, no, I do every day. I'm like, is this it? Is this the day? Oh, good for her. That's so exciting. Oh, I love that. Good luck to her. She's going to do great. If she ever needs anything, if she ever needs any support, you just You just message me and I will send as much as I possibly can to her. He's an attorney and I know I will never win an argument. It's true. The secret's out. The secret's out. I'm a truck driver and I've learned more on podcasts in the last 5 years. Yes. Yes. I love it. I absolutely love it. Truck driving. I mean, that is the absolute backbone of this country. How does one message you? I should have, most of my messages right now are kind of open. So I'm kind of letting people, I'm carefully letting people kind of message me if they want to. So my daughter has 1 more year in law school. Oh, good for her, CJ. Oh, she can do it. 3rd year, that's it. So 1st year, they scare you to death. 2nd year, they work you to death. 3rd year, they bore you to death. So she's going into her 3rd year of being bored to death. Yeah, I'm not sure I would say equal. I think that's generous. I mean, I don't know if we have to use the word equal, but, you know, it's something. Start college and knowing you want to stay. No, I didn't, Michelle. I didn't. Actually, I was terrible. I was a terrible high school student. I was working 40, 50 hours a week to support myself and my family. And I did graduate early, but I graduated with a 1.6 GPA. Can't really do a lot with a 1.6. So went to community college and started getting really involved in classes and just went off from there. So I was able to transfer to a 4-year college, of course, and then and then once you get up into those 4.0 semesters, then you're like, okay, this is for me. And then off to law school I went. So, you know, I think a lot of those challenges really helped me figure out what was important. So, you know, it really just, it's hard. College is hard. I mean, 4.3, absolutely. And that's understandable. It's hard. It's hard. You know, and it depends on where your mind is. And it's not all about, you know, how to study and how to learn. It's about, you know, how to live your life while you're doing it. I think that can be really hard. College is a beast, absolutely. Any ambitions to run for office? No. I started working on my first political campaign when I was 9 years old, and I worked and volunteered on political campaigns all the way up until law school. And I have seen all the sides, and that is not a place that I would like to be. I don't think that's a place where I can really do the work that I would like to do. So, although I respect those that do, but it's just not for me. Law degrees and don't practice 50%. Well, I think a lot of people go in not really realizing what is going to happen, what's going to happen. So, yeah, community college. I went in, I got my 25 credits, and then I transferred, and it was only, I had to take some special tests because my GPA was so low. So I didn't even qualify. So I had to take some tests, and then they let me in. I was taking night classes. I had a day job at a tea room. I had night classes, and then I would go to my overnight job. I was working at a gas station, and, you know, it was a tough couple of years, but you do what you got to do and put yourself through school. Apply to grad school just hoping. Yeah, I think so too, CJ. I think that's very true. I think a lot of people do. Asking for cash. A lot of it is. Have I ever thought about teaching at university? I have, and I've taught. I've done a lot of adjunct teaching, and full-time teaching is not something, you know, I don't know that people really realize how much politics involved in teaching at university. And again, that's just not something I'm really into. Again, I think a lot of the reasons why we do get those law degrees, but people don't realize, you know, what to do with it when they're done, which is fine. I don't think there's, I think, you know, I was busy in high school. I was busy. I was flipping burgers. I was paying the mortgage. I was keeping our electricity running. So I had other things going on. Yeah, I do teach. I do present. I do seminars. I do speaking engagements. So I do a lot of those things. Love it. Love to do that. So you have to really know, you really, really want to teach an academic. Yeah, it's a totally different world, isn't it? It really is. It really is a different world. Yeah, I think so. 1 potato, 2 in the mall. Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh, I love potatoes. I worked at a donut shop, and one of the benefits was you could take a dozen donuts home at the end of your shift. That was a really nice summer. Oh, of course, Gretchen, of course. Oh my gosh. Yes, single moms unite, go for it. I mean, I was very lucky with my fella. I take a deep breath for a moment. It's not easy, but total and complete respect. I worked at a donut shop at 15. Yes, CJ, yes. Well, it's interesting because our donut shop here, you didn't have to be legally old enough because they paid in cash. And so, I was 12, and so she just would pay me in cash, and it was no big deal. Probably not the best, but why so many horror stories working at law firms? Because they kind of can be that way for sure. It depends on your firm. If you're in big law, they may not notice you, which can be really good, but then you don't necessarily get a lot of experience. But if you're in a smaller firm, you may have a lot more individual experience, which can be good, but then it's a lot more stress. So it really depends on the kind of firm you go and work for. Oh yes, early mornings, yes. Now a master's degree. Oh, good for you. Good for you. Oh, I love that. Yes, child labor it's a thing. It's a thing. That's it. If you do what you have to do to survive. And, for me, that was starting to work way too young. And, I worked in different fields. I did all kinds of work, whatever I needed to do. But, those days are over. But I'm grateful for the experiences. The meat packing plant, yeah, I was lucky. I never needed to go to a meat packing plant. I've represented a lot of people that have worked at meat packing plants. My goodness, that's hard work. Oh, it's so hard on your body. It's so hard. So much respect for anyone working in our meat packing plants. Oh my gosh, it's so hard. I think we appreciate this because social media is so full of, yeah, true. Yeah, I think so. It certainly can be. But back when you did it, they didn't have the laws. Yeah, no, it's true. They had the laws. It's just, nobody really cared. Nobody cared. You just kind of, I could find a loophole. I could take care of what I needed to take care of. Yeah, it was ignored. And, one of the things that was so cathartic for me were the years I spent as a prosecutor working in China cases, in children in need of assistance cases, and protecting kids and kind of making sure that they were safe. And that was incredibly cathartic for me after my experiences. So very helpful, very difficult, but you're starting over RICO. Oh my goodness. To work permit when I was 15. Yes. Oh my gosh. Wow. Yeah. I mean, I think, we've all got our stories. Yeah, I think you can really respect the struggle people go through every single day, and just to survive and make it to the next day. So I think so too, CJ. I think so. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. I'm not sure that I'm smart. I just know a lot about, what I know a lot about. That's really it. If I don't know about it, I don't, Oh, you're not supposed to use scissors? Well, I have to say, I was the youngest to work the grill at a Wendy's. I was. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you do what you got to do. And I think it really helps you to understand how things work and how the world works. And, there's certain goals you set for yourself. Like, I didn't want to clean other people's toilets. That was my primary goal. When I went to law school, my first day, I was like, I'm doing this so I don't have to clean other people's toilets. And I was like, goal met. I was happy about that. I only clean my own toilets. Shows like Law and Order and CSI. Yes, I have done criminal work, a prosecutor as well as defense work. I currently do not have any criminal clients. I did finish up my last criminal client recently, and I've not chosen to pull any more in. So, but Law and Order, I think, is a great show. I couldn't watch it for a long time because it was so close to how things work, and CSI completely changed the world of our juries. when it came to circumstantial versus direct evidence, completely changed everything. And in fact, it's called the CSI effect, and we're taught about it to kind of take that into account when we're working with our juries. But yeah, I mean, it was really, it's interesting. I can go back through and watch another live using the indictment as proof of guilt. Yeah, no, an indictment's not proof of guilt. An indictment is proof of probable cause, that there were crimes that were committed that a grand jury found. So that's really it. That's what we have here. Worried plating company for full. Oh my goodness. That's a lot. That's a lot. You know, when I saw a picture of this fella, he looked familiar. He looked familiar, but I wouldn't have been able to pick his name out for sure. I would not have been able to pick his name out of a list. But his picture looks familiar, which again, I don't know that that's a good thing. I think a lot of these people we've seen on January 6th making statements, and they've been kind of charged with that. So it's interesting how everyone kind of got involved with all of that. Cheese bro, right? Yeah. Republican. Oh, yeah. Out of Georgia. There, I mean, again, though, his face, he looks familiar. He was up there on January 6th with the people, I believe, when I saw that. Cheese man. Yeah. Kenny Case. Oh, my goodness. Kenny Queso. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, another person that was kind of pulled in. And again, that's what makes this, why the RICO charge makes sense, because you've got this group with this common goal. A little bit more about the CSI effect. Yes. Oh, sure. Oh, absolutely. So yeah, the CSI effect, we, before CSI came on, and again, it was a long, long time ago, but, most of the people in, our average citizens, they knew we had other crime shows that were out and about, but we never had anything with this level of science involved. And so that was something we had to address with our juries. So a lot of times the questions we would ask would say, hey, has anyone here watched CSI? Is anyone familiar with that? To kind of figure out if our jury would be okay if we didn't have a fingerprint, if we didn't have, a hair that was stuck in the rug. Like, that's just not what really happens. And so we would ask, are you going to be okay with that? So we had to really acknowledge that it was there, and acknowledge and make sure that our jury understood that things just didn't work that way. So that was a big piece to it. And, of course, I've got a scientist in my world, and his number one question was always like, well, why don't they have any lights on in the lab? Why is everything so dark all the time? I'm like, so I would use that as an example to the jurors. I'm like, did anyone ever notice that the lights were always down? So just keep that in mind. This is a television show that in reality, we don't really work things like that. So it was just part of what we needed to do. Yes, what's this? I saw you pinned something. I'm sorry, I missed it. I was going on and on about the dim lights in the labs. Do they hand deliver? What did I miss? Sorry about that. An indictment papers given by hand or through the mail. Oh, they're all filed. They're all filed electronically. If it's just a trial information, we can file that electronically with the court. If it's a grand jury, we've got protocol. And so that, I think in this case, it was a good example where the clerk went and took it and then filed it. And so that's how we knew we had this set of papers the judge looked at first, and then it was walked in and filed. So that can happen because, again, we don't really use grand juries that frequently. So we have a lot of that going on. When we have these kinds of high-level cases, we've got a bit more pomp and circumstances involved with that. Work down there, Fulton County. Well, I don't have any information on that. It affected the jurors' expectations. Oh, yeah, huge. It was a huge shift in the entire legal community, and we all had to try to figure out how to work with it. And, by the time I was in trial, it had been out for quite a while. And so there had been a lot of studies done. There were a lot of courses done to kind of teach us how to deal with it by then. But the attorneys, when it first came out, were just like, what do? We don't even know what we're supposed to do. Oh, you come to see the rates. So tonight I've got my Garnet here. I think I called it a ruby before, but it is actually a garnet. I do have a ruby ring that looks similar to this, but yes. And then this ring, I have, it's an anniversary band. And then I've got this ring, which is just another classic one. Thank you so much, though, for asking about that. Oh, absolutely, Jessica, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know about any of that trouble. Ruby is a red sapphire. Really interesting, Miguel. I didn't know that. I did not realize that. Oh, thank you, Rosie. Garnet's my daughter's name. Oh, I love that. I love that, Sherry. That's a fantastic name. Does she have like a shortened name, or does she go by the full Garnet? Any Tourmaline? I'll have to take a look and see. I've got quite a stash. I think I explained before that many times if I had a rough day, it usually would involve me going to a jewelry store to take care of things, or an antique shop. So I like Shrek. Oh, emeralds, love emeralds. What questions would you ask if you were choosing a jury for the Georgia trial? Best questions. Oh, sure. Oh, pink sapphire, gorgeous. If I was asking, I would say probably one of the biggest things would be, does anyone here feel that based off of the news coverage, you would not be able to find the defendant not guilty? Or the defendants? Or do you think because so many people were named that this means that they must have done something? Or do you believe that the state does not need to prove beyond a reasonable doubt? Those are the kinds of questions from the defense point of view that I would try to really weed out right away and make sure I got them taken care of. How does a person know they've been indicted? That information is served to them. They will get that information. Once they've been indicted, they get arrested, they get pulled in. An arrest warrant can be issued. That's typically how it happens. North Carolina has tons of, fun. Custom line of the bling bang. Oh my gosh. Yes. Yeah, I do. I do like the sparklies. The shinies. Yeah, those are the big questions you want to make sure that you've got. If you're defense counsel, you need to make sure that the jury sitting there, that they don't have the level of bias that's going to interfere with it. Or I would ask questions like, there's some really complex issues involved in this case. Does anyone here think that they would be unable to, look at the law and use it in the way that the judge instructed you to, or, those kinds of things. So how is the jury selected? They're called in. If they happen to be on the jury duty roster at that time, they're pulled in. We pull in a huge batch of them. Then we ask questions. The judge can ask questions. The questionnaires are delivered even before they come in. So both sides ask questions, and we go through a process of elimination that we call voir dire. So, thank you. Thank you. I hope that they are. Will they all be arraigned on the same day? That I'm not sure about, Lizzie. I'm not sure. It will depend on the court schedule. I don't know why they would necessarily need to be, but if she's saying she wants to put them all together, they might need to all show up at the same time. We all have bias, but yes, it's all about being able to look past it and being able to say, hey, we're not going to let this disrupt my job, my duty. Yeah, that's the key. That's the key to picking a jury. Would they pick jury members from a different state? No, they can't. It's against the law to do that. Because the jurisdiction rules required in criminal procedure, you have to be charged where the crime took place. So here we've got all of these Georgia statutes that were violated in Georgia. So they have to have it tried in Georgia. I mean, that's the law. Yeah, it seems like, we can't get anyone impartial, but we find them. We absolutely find them. What if they can't get an unbiased jury out together? They can. They will. Every time that we've had to get a jury trial, again, you think of the most famous cases that we've ever had in this country, all of them, we were always able to. If you think about it, like Timothy McVeigh, we had the snipers in D.C., we had the Unabomber situation, I think it was a Unabomber. All of the very famous cases, Dahmer, whatever, we've always found a jury. So it just takes a lot of time. It takes time. It takes a huge effort. They all go on trial together, do they have the same attorneys or individual? I'm sure they would be individual. I think there would be too much of a conflict of interest for the same attorney to represent more than one person, because the goals of Mr. Meadows going to be different than the goals for Mr. Clark. So these attorneys, they'll have to be separate. They wouldn't be able to just say, okay, I've got 2 or 3 of them. They would each have their own individual goals that would be at odds with each other. Not sure about the OJ. Well, and that's the thing. We still found that jury, though. We still found it to a point where he was able to get a fair trial. Yeah, I mean, we still had him. I mean, we had a finding of not guilty. For the civil case, we had a finding of fault. So, and then in Las Vegas, in that trial, he had, another situation where it's like, we were able to find him. There can be some discussions later, but at the time, they tried the case in front of the jury. We were able to find the best jury that we could at the time. Will any of them have bail set? Yeah, I think so. A lot of them, though, would probably be ORs, is what I would assume. Yeah, Casey Anthony, exactly. Think of those cases. And again, I think OJ is a good example to kind of go and look and say, I'm not really sure how we feel about that. But in the end, based off of the evidence that they were allowed to see, not the evidence we saw, which was totally different than what they saw, they came up with the best decision that they can. Have you ever seen a juror excused because it became clear that he or she had been dishonest? Yes, we can have problems with our jurors. It's rare, but it does happen. And we've got procedures in court, rules that we have to follow if that happens. And we try to do everything we can to keep it from happening. But judges, it does happen. Judges know how to deal with it, and they take care of it. But if there is an issue, then it's immediately taken care of. And we just are like, hey, I think we've got an issue here. We need to talk it out. The judge immediately gets involved. Both sides, everybody's involved. Everything is up on the table, open and honest. We take care of it. If we've got to start from the beginning, we got to start from the beginning. What about a signed waiver of consent? For the same attorney to represent more than one person? Is that what you mean by a signed waiver of consent? Like if both of these guys were represented by the same person, if they consent for representation? It could happen. It would be allowable. I think legally it would be doable if you're like, okay, we're not going to have any problems here if everybody agrees. But I think for practical purpose reasons, it would be very difficult. And I think also you would set yourself up for insufficient counsel. And you would have some issues with that. You would have counsel questions on appeals. And I'm not sure a judge would really want to deal with that. So even though they may be okay with the same counsel, the judge may say, I'm not okay with that. You need to get this taken care of. Because the high profile of this case, do you think both sides will get more voir dires? I think the judge is going to be pretty generous with it. I think the judge is going to be pretty understanding, making sure that enough people come in, enough questions are asked. And typically the judges will make sure both sides are satisfied. So they will ask, well, is the state comfortable? Is the state okay? Does the state want to go another day? And then the state will respond. And then go to the defendants. Like, is defense counsel okay with this? Or, do we need more time? And then make the schedule according to that. Does it happen much where a judge is dismissed due to bias? No, it really doesn't. Because it's typically taken care of before everything starts. These are all pre-trial, pre-voir dire, all of those issues. Once the judge is assigned the case, if there's going to be issues, those are taken up immediately. Oh, I missed the question. Hold on. Let me see here. If an employer has been convicted and incarcerated, how would you find the records? Typically, all of the records of convictions are public. So you would just look up their name online and go into the database. My jurisdiction has a database that holds criminal convictions. And so I would go to that. It's my online courts in my jurisdiction. And they have a database. You go in, you type their name. If you know their birth date, that helps a lot. And then you can kind of click through and look and find that information. Are the defendants ranked in order or just order listed in the document? I think it has to do with the number of counts, but it seems like they put it out in order of when they were named within the different counts. So like our first few acts and so on, we had these guys were mentioned, and then so on and so on. Because as we get further on, you see them that came into the picture a little bit later on when we got into the December, January counts, is what I'm assuming. Saying voir dire feels a little, yeah, voir dire. I mean, it means to speak the truth. Voir dire is the process we go through in asking questions of our potential jurors in order to find those jurors that are the least biased, the most able to give us a fair trial. That's really the goal. So it's a process of just asking questions in order to kind of get to know our jurors. They get to kind of know us a little bit too. And we figure out who we think is going to be a problem and who isn't going to be a problem. Do they worry that the jury will be confused by all the different defenses and reasoning? That happens in every case, and so we take it into consideration. We have jury instructions that are very, very clear, very specific, and so you get a packet of jury instructions at the end of the trial, and you will go through those one at a time. And sometimes we can have like 280 jury instructions, and they'll go through and they'll answer the questions, and then when they're done answering the questions, their verdict will be at the end, so it's kind of tallied up. Yeah, I think we're definitely seeing a hole in our Constitution here. Well, I understand why people would think it would be a federal case, and we do have some things going on in D.C., of course, but we also have Georgia laws, specific Georgia laws here that were violated based off of actions done in Georgia regarding judges. Regarding Georgia. Sorry, I'm reading and speaking at the same time. Who would interview the judge to make sure he's unbiased? These things are determined ahead of time. I think the judge's reputation is determined, the judge's past record, if there are any ethical complaints, if there are attorneys that feel that there would be a problem, we are required ethically to speak up, to make that known, to hopefully they do that if there was a problem. So all of that information is really fleshed out before. If we think a judge is bad, we don't just leave the judge to sit there until, 5-10 cases down the road. Like, we nip it right in the bud when it occurs. At least that's how it's supposed to be. This absolutely would be on TV. Yes, yeah, because it's a state case. It's a state case. And they've got different rules when it comes to that. Well, let's go to the Supreme Court. No, I mean, the Supreme Court is an appellate court. So if there's a federal law in question or a constitutional violation in question, it can be appealed just like any other federal law would be appealed. But they don't get involved in these cases until they are done, and then you are appealed. So if there's not a constitutional law question or a federal question, they're an appellate court. So you wouldn't just go from a trial court all the way up to, the Supreme Court. There's like 4 courts in between, especially dealing with a state court issue. There's like multiple other courts you have to go to before you get to the U.S. Supreme Court. They just can't come in and deal with things unless they've got proper jurisdiction. Yeah, I mean, it's funny, but not ha-ha funny. It's more like that's not so good. Wish that could have been done differently, but straight to the point. I do lollygag quite a bit, but I do try to answer the questions as best as I can. If the attorneys are found guilty, will they be disbarred? You have to have someone file a complaint in order for an attorney to be disbarred. I cannot imagine a world where these attorneys do not have complaints filed against them and that the ethics aren't being looked into. You don't automatically necessarily lose your license, but it's definitely in the works. So you go through the proper process. But yeah, I can't imagine any of them getting out with their licenses still intact. Like Saul. Oh my gosh, yes, Saul. California, you don't need to be convicted of a crime. You just need to do the bad act in order to lose your license. Oh, absolutely, Natasha, no problem. Yes, he did. The MPRE's the law ethics exam. Yes, it is. And it's a tough exam, actually. Oh yes, you have a great night too, Keith. Thanks for stopping by. Think like cheating on your taxes, even if you settle, you can get disbarred. Absolutely. Yep, true. The word appellate. Thank you. Yes, of course. Yes. Oh, okay. She just did. Oh, yes. Oh, fingers crossed on that one for sure. What state has the hardest bar? Ah, that's debatable depending on who you ask. I would say California, New York, Texas. Illinois has one of the hardest for business. Maryland has one of the hardest for corporate law. So those are probably the big ones. Can a lawyer be untruthful at all in court knowingly? There's ethics against that. We need to be truthful. We can be persuasive without being untruthful. The key is, though, that attorneys, we're trained on how to use our words. I mean, that's our words are our tools of the trade in our brain. And so we can kind of, persuade during first oral arguments and during opening and closing statements. We can persuade. That's not evidence. We're persuading. But when it comes to questioning witnesses, when it comes to our behaviors and what we're filing for motions, it all needs to be truthful. We have to have a good faith belief that what we're doing is correct. If we come in with any kind of malice or any kind of negative ill will or ill intent, we're going to get called on it. Are we back to the lyrics again? Oh, they voted for disbarment for Giuliani. Okay, in D.C. I had wondered about that. I thought I had heard that somewhere. It seems like, that's not rude at all. I think, Miguel, we've got to ask those questions. It's always good to ask. It seems like a lot aren't exactly truthful. It seems like it. It's just, and maybe they aren't, and they need to be called out on it. And, I think maybe that's something that needs to happen more often. But, attorneys, we tend to be the hall monitors. When you think back in school, those annoying people that are like, you need to follow the rules. That's how a lot of attorneys are. But we've got a lot of attorneys, too, that go into it for other reasons. And so their motivation isn't to make sure people are following the law. It's for something else. And so, if that's your mindset, you're going to come at things a little bit differently. And so those kinds of things can raise a lot of ethical questions. Yeah, it is what took the mafia down, part of it. Yeah, and gangs. And gangs is huge. That was the other big piece. Disbarment for the guy in the hat. Yes. I think that was that Eastman? The guy in the hat? Friend to end up on the other side of the law. Oh, I agree. You were a hall monitor. Good for you. I found out very, very early in law school, very early, that no matter what I did and said, I had to be able to look at myself in the mirror. So I didn't care. I didn't really care what the other students were doing, what my professors wanted, what I was supposed to be doing for my path. The only thing that mattered to me was I could look at myself in the mirror and be like, okay, I screwed up, but I corrected it, or, yep, I'm doing the right thing. That was it for me. And, that's the key, I think. And not everybody does that, and that's okay. But with a felony, can you still run for office? Yes. Ooh, radio DJ. Love that. Love that. Yeah, my ethics were just incredibly important to me. They really were. I was reading ethics before I went to law school. So that was essential for me. If this plays out in Georgia State Court, it'll be a prosecution circus. I think all of this is a bit of a circus. It's a bit of a circus. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I think you have to be like that in your life. I mean, it really is. Some people say, like, why would you help that person? Or why would you do that? They don't care. Or, you're only hurting yourself. But the point is, like, it's not really about the other person. It's about yourself and how you feel about yourself. And sometimes doing and saying things can make you feel a way about yourself that you don't want to have in your life. And so, that's what I do. I don't want to have those feelings in my life. And if I can prevent that, then I will. If that means I need to change my behavior, then I need to do that. You wake up in the morning. Exactly. Oh, so true. So true. Yeah. And that's really what it's about. It's about your own feelings towards yourself. And you've got to really stay on the right side of yourself. Charge of creating your own purpose. Oh, yeah. Exactly. Can't vote, but can run for office. It's true. It is a bit crazy, isn't it? Oh, thank you, Bees. B, thank you. What do you think a minimum retainer is for most of these defendants? Thinking of the average Joe. Oh, that's a really good question. I really don't know. On a case this complicated, I don't know. I mean, I would think the very lowest would be, I don't know, maybe 10K would be the lowest. I think much less than that for a case this complicated would be unusual. In my humble opinion, I tell my son character is doing the right thing when you know you won't get caught doing wrong. Oh, absolutely, Cozy and Cray. Absolutely. It's not about being caught. It's like, you know what you've done. You have to be able to live with that. Absolutely. Tens of thousands easily. Yeah, I mean, for a retainer bid, of course, your retainer just gets everything started, but then, of course, you have to start paying more. I paid $8,000 as a retainer for child custody. That's not unusual. It's a lot. It's a lot for child custody. It's not unusual, but it is a lot. We try to, when it comes to family law, things get really complicated, and we can kind of split things apart a little bit. So different kinds of proceedings can cost different amounts, but that's going to depend on your jurisdiction. Are they going to be tried at the same time? It'll depend. It'll depend on what the prosecutor wants to do. Oh, you're eating dinner with your hubby. Well, oh, good. Oh, well, bon appetit. Hopefully it's tasty. You clerk family law. Oh, yeah. It's a tough world. Oh, the family law world. My goodness. It's tough. It's tough. That's some hard work to do. So essential and so hard and extremely expensive, difficult for anyone. Didn't know Rudy Giuliani had 2 middle names. I didn't know that either. That was something new that I had. Never paid her lawyers and owes them a lot. Ooh, yeah, we don't like that. I mean, we're willing to work with you. We could put a payment plan together, but eventually you kind of need to pay, you know? I mean, we got to pay the mortgage too. Although I don't have a lot of sympathy for these, for a lot of attorneys, but you do need to pay. Average Joe does not get average treatment where the law is concerned. You know, nice name, by the way, Jeepers. I would say you're not necessarily wrong. I think it's absolutely harder for the average person to make their way through the legal system without any knowledge of what's going on. I think that's very difficult. And I think it's detrimental, and I think it's too bad. I think it really is. What happens if the client doesn't pay? We sue them. Jenna Ellis starting a GoFundMe. Really interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, they're going to need it. I think there's going to be a lot of fees going on. Legal fees. What? 30 million? Yeah. And I don't think she had that kind of cash. You know, plus all of the restitution that she needed to pay and the fines. Yeah, that's a lot. That is a lot. Yikes. But, you know, again, sometimes we take a case because we got to fight the good fight. We need to make sure everyone's treated fairly, no matter which side they're on. So that's important. But we also, you know, I mean, we got bills to pay too. Jen about to go full Karen. Who is Elizabeth Holmes? Well, she was she was just recently sentenced. Thanks for what you do here. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I think that's why politicians should go to law school. You know, it would be good if people would understand the law. You ever sue CPS? I've never sued them, but I've fought against them before, many times. Sometimes they screw up. Sometimes you got to call them out on that. The hardest case I ever had involved, I was working for the state, which meant I was working with CPS, but I disagreed with them so much. I called in the AG's office. I'm like, look, I can't work with them. You need to come in. And so the AG's office took over, basically representing them because I couldn't. I was like, I think our law is not allowing for what's happening here. Give people a step-by-step guide. They refuse to read it. I can't help if you won't help yours. Absolutely, Tiffany. That's so true. Oh, that's so true. We can just only do so much. I mean, I can give it all to you, but you have to take it. That's as much as I can do. Yep, 1983. Yep. Those are hard lawsuits to go forward on. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Jenna will cop a deal if she. It's possible. I've heard that there's a lot of, that she's already kind of been around the news. Yeah, I don't even know how to say it. Theranos. She had claimed that there was a kind of a scientific process that could be used to determine certain things, and had gotten a ton of backers and just a ton of money. She was like this huge billionaire, super successful, like an up and coming entrepreneur, and it was all found out to be false. and she was charged, and she went to prison for that. So it was pretty major. Do you have experience with ICWA? I do. I have, I don't have a lot, but I do have some experience with ICWA. Yep. Indian Child Welfare Act. Yep. Sister went against Disney for her work injuries. Oh, really? Oh, well, yeah. Oh, I hate to hear that, but I'm glad, I mean, it doesn't even matter how much you win once you've been injured, because you're always going to be injured, but still, at least there was something. She comes to go, oh, hi, Kitty. Oh, we're not there yet for individual. Oh, true. Every blood test with just a few drops of blood. Yes. Oh, there's a great documentary. Oh, that's good to know. Yeah, I mean, it was a really big deal. Ruby's going down because I mean, there's a lot of, there's going to be a lot of negativity surrounding that, because I think anybody that can be brought down, people are going to try to bring down, which is really too bad. Oh, there's a TV documentary called The Dropout. Okay, good. Yes. Oh, I think that's a really accurate way of saying it. Bernie Madoff. Yeah, Bigly scammer. That excellent description. Yeah, it was all bologna sandwiches, and she really had screwed over a lot of people, and they were pretty upset about it, and rightfully so. There was a huge amount of money involved. There was a lot of fraud. It was bad business, and she kept it spinning for a long time. Take a peek at the. No, I try to really. Yeah, she went down hard. Federal case open against state politician subdivision. Really? That's interesting. 18 people. Yeah, bologna sandwiches. Yeah, that's my personal favorite term. I use that quite a bit. I had to change my terminology. I need a major law firm. I wish you luck with that, hooligan. I most certainly am not a major law firm, my friend. I am not. I am just me. I'm a law firm of one with my own shingle that I polish every once in a while. Civil rights, that's a huge area. Have you looked into the ACLU? They take a lot of cases. In fact, they partnered up with a lot of cases that went up to the U.S. Supreme Court because people could not afford attorneys. So you may want to take a look at them, especially when it comes to civil rights. I love it here. Oh, that's so sweet. Oh, my goodness. Oh, that's so sweet. Bologna sandwiches and Jello cups. About to get real old. Well, yeah, it's probably not what they're used to. It's probably it'll be a new experience for some people, which is, part of that. Part of the process, I mean, you can run for so long, but eventually you're going to get caught. Everybody pretty much gets caught. My husband often accuses people of using we love dorks here. Federal prison is better than state, right? Well, I've heard it both ways. And I've heard all of it is better than county. For sure. Just don't think people get how serious RICO charges are. I don't think so either, Natasha. I think you're right. RICO's huge. The fact that it came out of Georgia is huge. Absolutely. Out of all of the cases, this is the one that will be absolutely, in my opinion, the most interesting to really watch unfold. Right. Consequences of your own actions. Yeah. And, that's not being judgmental. That's just in every case where we've got defendants, we've got crimes that are being charged. That just is how it is. It doesn't matter who you are as a defendant. That's how you do it. We need 2 convictions to get the whole crew. Yeah, exactly. I mean, again, RICO is just a powerful, powerful tool. Do I know him out of the Ohio cases? No, I don't. Is there more information out on that, Jared? I have not heard of him before. Wait till you see what happens next. Yeah, I mean, I think we've got a lot of different things coming down the pipeline. We've got a lot. I mean, again, I think this is absolutely the most interesting thing. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Jared. Hopefully it's not negative or racist in any way, because that's unacceptable here. The whole case is fascinating to me. Yeah, it really is. It really is. Have they responded to the complaint? I've not seen anything yet. Okay, he had RICO charges. Oh, interesting. I'll have to take a look at that. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough, Jared. Fair enough. Yeah, we're careful here. We get a lot of trolls. Oh, do we have a troll? Are you a troll, Jared? We don't care for trolls here. I mean, no offense, but we got to watch those community guidelines. So, yeah, we don't need any of that. Good evening. Good evening. Okay, well, let's take it easy a little bit there, Jared. We don't need any of that. We've had some bad energy come through tonight. We're all a little bit careful. Okay, well, that's one way of putting it, but that's also a common term that's used in a lot of criminal cases as well. So let's take it easy. Let's take it easy. Take it easy. He's a congressman. Right. Okay, I'll have to take a look at that. Yeah, first of all, okay, let's clear it up. Who do we have this time? James the genius. All right, let's clear it up. I'm going to need to start taking and writing down how many times we're asked this. Okay, first of all, not charges leaked, all right? Accidental clerical error, accidentally filed. It happens all the time. It's happening right now somewhere in the U.S. Someone is accidentally filing a document, accidentally. It doesn't mean the case is tossed. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with the case. It's just a simple clerical error. It happens all the time. Yep. All the time. Well, I'm happy to. I think maybe we should keep... What law school did I graduate from? I graduated from a very expensive and accredited law school in my state. I do keep some of my personal information, which I think, given the content of what's going on in the world, I think that's okay. Yep, happens all the time. Very common. How many times does our country charge someone with RICO? That's a good question. I'm not sure. I'm really not. I've got no idea. How many times to say banana? Yeah, the banana split. We got to start keeping track of those. Yeah, no, you're fine. Yeah, we've got a couple Jareds going on here. What's the clerical mistake? Yeah, somebody just hit a button and they didn't mean to. And so it got filed accidentally. Then they pulled it back. But of course, didn't pull it back quick enough. People like myself were able to print it and get a copy of it. And then they said, whoop, that was wrong. And so now we're just, trying to go forward. Am I a public worker for the state? Oh, my goodness. No. You're not an attorney. I am an attorney. I do have the student loans to prove it, although that's private information as well. But nope, I am an attorney licensed in my state. Fulton County. It's interesting. They're really taking care of business in Fulton County. Yeah, banana bread. Yes, the banana. The kangaroo court. Heard that quite a bit. We'll have to start keeping track. Yeah, I don't think it's necessary. I view it like if at any time anyone from my district or jurisdiction came across any of my lives or any of my videos, everything I do, I feel as though they're watching me while I'm doing it. So I have absolutely no problem with that. Student loan forgiveness went through. Yes, we will see how that goes. Clerical obsession is my new computer ate my term paper vibes. Oh my gosh. It really is. That's genius. Genius. Do you think federal cases are just state? Do I do federal cases? No, I don't. I can if I need to. I can follow a case up into federal court if I need to, but I don't. I don't have any of those kinds of cases going on right now. I'm kind of in like a low-key timing with my firm. I've got some other things going on in my life, so, I'm kind of... making sure that I can give the clients that I am taking care of my full attention when needed, but I'm not really taking any new clients at this time. Keep doing what you're doing. I'll try. Try to keep it going. I've read so many briefs. I can almost quote them. Yeah, you really become so educated when you just take the time to read the documents. Around 32 cases. Well, that's interesting. Okay, very interesting. Roger Stone, video evidence. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not. I am. I really am. I've been lucky. I've put in my time, and I've done what I needed to do to kind of set things up, so I would be in a good place at this point. So, And also, I started working very, very young, so I've put my time in. I've put in my tax money. I put it in the system. If a former president is found guilty, would they ever serve time, or would it be house arrest? Good question, Shannon. It's going to depend on the jurisdiction, and they've got to follow the rules. So whatever a defendant who received this kind of sentence would do is what that person would need to do too. Even though he's a former president, we still have to follow the rules. Still got to hold the person accountability. Why did I go into practicing law? There were a lot of things that really pushed me in that direction. But primarily, I was just really, really wanting to work with the Constitution, work with the law. I think the idea of using the law as a shield was incredibly important to me. And, you can use it as a sword or a shield. And both of those are great. But for me, I really wanted to have the knowledge to be able to use it as a shield and to protect other people with the shield. So that was really important to me. What happens if they don't turn themselves in? There'll be warrants. They'll be chased down. So grateful for your time. Oh, you're welcome. Oh, you're welcome. Secret Service and agents in jail. There'll be some kind of special accommodations, I have no doubt. But I think that, that happens. You just kind of do what you need to do and deal with it as it comes. State prison. Really? Oh, I didn't know that. Mifepristone. Oh, that's a good question. I could do that. Yeah, they don't want to learn. If you don't want to learn, then there's nothing I can do about it. I can just give you the information. If you don't want to know about it, you can just not learn about it. I don't know. Yes. And, the conspiracy theories, it's a lot. It gets to be a lot after a while. It's, he could be indicted. Still, he could be one of the unnamed people. There's lots of different kinds of questions that can be asked. This can be a mistrial. No. Nope. Not at this point. No, there's nothing that would make this a mistrial at this point. We just have the indictment at this point. So if they want to challenge the indictment, they can, but challenging the indictment is not a mistrial. We don't even have a trial yet, so there can't be a mistrial. It's to the point. Those theories sound so, some of them I'm like, wait a minute. There's just certain basic things that, it's like, wait a minute, that can't be right. Low-level education. It's like, I feel like the, tabloids, like the UK tabloids, like how did the tabloids come to life? When did this happen? Like everybody knew the tabloids were not good, and now they've like come to life and people are like, it's really true. I'm like, can you imagine that if people really believe those tabloids back in the day? Like Elvis is not still with us. I'm sorry. I know it's controversial, but it's true. He's not. I'm sorry. Let the man be at peace. How did you get the documents before they were read? I had we'd been looking at it. I had tons of people on live with me already, and we'd been looking for it. And I had someone who actually had typed out the link, and I was able to hop on and get it and print it real quick. And I'm so thankful about that. That's really what helped me. So I was able to just print it quick and do it. Justice for Hunter. Do I have an opinion? I don't know enough. I need more information about Hunter. I think if we've got a special prosecutor appointed, then that prosecutor will do everything he needs to do his job. And I think that's fantastic. If we get indictments out of it, if we get charges, we'll go over those. Absolutely. Can he still run for president? At this point, yes. It will be challenged. I have no doubt. There will be a lot of legal questions, but how do we get you on Rachel Maddow? Oh my goodness. Oh, no. I've actually had someone contact me, not Miss Maddow, but at this point I'm not really ready yet to go much further than where I'm pretty happy with where I'm at with a wonderful group here and answering questions and so on. So I'm pretty content with where I'm at. I'm not sure I want to go much further. Commission goes into action. Will they remove Fanny? Concerned. Oh, I don't think so at this point. I don't really know a lot about that. Maybe I should do a post on that, actually. Let me make a note. Let me put a post together on that to clarify, because I think that's a really good question. There have been several things that have been tried in order to push her out of the way, and none of it's worked. Yeah, thank you for telling me. Mifepristone. Yeah, let me write that one down too. That was a huge situation. I will definitely put that on my list as well. So I've got that written down. Releasing the names of the grand jurors should not have occurred. I agree. And it's unfortunate. And I think somebody had said that there was a law that said that their names needed to be put in there. But the fact that that knowledge was pushed out into the public with so much more information, I think it really says a lot about the people that would go forward and pursue that. Will they be put on bail release? Probably. Make a great legal commentator. Well, oh, look at the jellyfish. Well, thanks. Although I'm easily distracted. But yeah. There's a law. Question ever again, Justin. Ever again. Oh, maybe. What is your ranking on lives? Oh, I don't know. Should I know that? Is there a place I can look that up somewhere? I don't have any idea. Should I research that? The point at which one, yes, moving from public court of opinion to the court of law. Absolutely, Cozy and Cray, absolutely. That's exactly where we're at. Yeah, is there a ranking? I don't know anything about a ranking. I'm not familiar with that. I think that's so sweet of you to say. Oh, that's so sweet. I don't know. It's not too hard to hop on and field questions, but I'm not sure if I would be. How long have I been a lawyer? Too long. A very, very long time. Yes, a very, very long time. I have been licensed and practicing for a very long time. From here on out to protect the jurors. I agree. I hope they do too, Serena. I really hope they do. I think this was really something that they probably thought could happen, but didn't realize it would happen in this way. So I'm hoping that they've kind of learned and have figured things out. So we need a law that locks the question of eligibility for president. I agree, Coffee Cat. I agree. I think we've got a hole in our Constitution. I don't think it was a hole we could have ever anticipated, but we see it now. What kind of law do you do? A little bit of everything. I do a little bit of everything. I spent a lot of time doing criminal law and labor law, torts litigation, employment law, Social Security, disability. So I've really dabbled in a lot of different areas. Have a good night. You too. Thanks for coming. This never happened before in the history of the... No, it's not. It really hasn't. This is completely just mind-blowing. Do you know anything about the process serving in that field? You have to be more specific. Like, what kind of process serving? Do you mean in this case? Lawyers never answer a little bit of everything. True. Most attorneys really focus, and I don't. I'm a bit of an ADHD attorney. But yeah, the Constitution is probably my biggest focus, and with criminal law and evidence, criminal procedure, probably my top bits, if you were to describe that. But yeah, I just have a little bit of everything. I really am very client oriented these days, as opposed to a particular area. Learning about the law in this context is, well, Jamie, thank you so much. Try to give some good information out there for people to understand a little bit. I've got enough knowledge about this particular area. I think it can be helpful. First time politicians got caught like this. I think at this level, I think we've had lots of politicians indicted and kind of held accountable, but at this level, yeah, absolutely. Need a RICO. Oh my goodness. I don't know. Oh, goodness. Yes. Yeah, definitely. It's a long way. Yes. If you want to rock and roll. I don't know how we're going to keep going at this. Corp executives. Yeah. The whole thing is, So sorry. Give some up of what you've been going over. Oh, sure, Shanty. I started the night talking about the First Amendment and the hate crime bill that was in Michigan, House Bill 4424. Talked about that a little bit, and now we're kind of just talking about the Georgia indictment a little bit, just doing a quick fire Q&A. I'm on a little bit longer than I had planned to be on, as is my per usual, but tomorrow night I will be coming on for a full presentation. I'm going to be working on the stand your ground laws along with the Second Amendment case laws. So lots of self-defense discussion tomorrow night to kind of clear up that doctrine for everyone. Going to use your coins? No, go for it. Use the coins. I have no idea what that means. So, but I encourage whatever it is you would like to do. Oh, you're welcome, Shanti. Absolutely. To review the indictment, how strong a case. It looks pretty strong. You know, and I've said it many times. Anytime you put a case in front of a jury, it's 50-50 shot. We never know what's going to happen. But we've definitely got solid probable cause. A grand jury came back with that. So I think it's pretty. Oh, graphics. Oh, sure. Yeah. No problem. Yeah, as long as it's legal. Yep. Yep. Exactly. As long as it's legal. That's like my life's motto. Juries are unpredictable. That's true. Yeah, exactly. How's a grand jury selected? We select a grand jury just like we would do a trial jury. We come in, we make sure that we've got the most unbiased people we can. We don't want to get challenged on our grand jury selection. It's a little different because, of course, we don't have a defendant. So we don't have the other side in asking those questions, but we make that determination, put them in the box, and give them the probable cause that we can and hope to go forward. But it's very similar to a trial jury process. It looks solid, but not as solid as the federal cases. Perhaps. How often do you do lives and what time? Well, that's kind of an ongoing question. I had hoped to just be on Mondays and Thursdays, and I typically try to go about 6 p.m. Central Time, but every once in a while, if something super interesting comes up, I will hop on. But this does tend to be my normal time, although I do occasionally, maybe about once or twice a week, I go about 10 a.m. Central Time just to kind of catch people who can't come at night. So that happens maybe once or twice, but I'm trying to stick more closely to my Monday, Thursday schedule, but I'm not being very successful with that. Possibility they could deny bail. Sure, that's always possible. It's always a possibility. Rules of evidence don't apply in grand jury proceedings. No, there's still rules of evidence. They're, not quite as strict, just like we have rules of evidence in family court, in juvenile court. We still have rules of evidence. They're just not quite as strict. But it still is allowable. My motto, don't add or subtract from the population. Don't end up in the paper hospital jail. I love it. Oh, I love it. That's fantastic. She schedules it around your lives. Very funny, sir. And welcome. When's your next live? I keep missing your lives. I'll have to join sometime. You have to keep me posted. I've been looking. I'm like, where is he? Where'd he go? Where do you thought some people trying to move Georgia charges to federal court? I think it's a classic move. I think it's, what we always would do if we're charged, and it could even potentially have a possibility of being in federal court. Of course, you're going to try to move it to federal court. I think it's a great strategy, and we all do it. All defense attorneys do it. I think will it happen? I don't know, but I think they all try to do it. We try to use that as a technique. Particularly in complicated cases where the stakes are pretty high, a lot of times they think that can be seen as sometimes a scare tactic to try to get the case taken care of in a different way. But not going to happen in this case. How likely will he get a mugshot? I think it sounds like it's part of their protocol, and they're going to follow their protocol. Meadows wants greener pastures. True, but I think it's pure strategy. I think the times that these kinds of cases or cases of this magnitude try to move to federal court, I think that's always going to be one of your very first moves. It's just a classic way of kind of taking care of the situation. How do you go through without jury voting on indictments? I have no idea what you're talking about. Are you talking about the clerical error? Because where are we at? Are we going to start counting? Where are we at? Are we at 12? Let's just keep track here. Clerical error question. Is it 12? Are we at 12? 15. 15. 15. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 15. Okay, it was a clerical error. It was not a it's fine. Clerical errors happen all the time. Somebody pushes the wrong button. Here's the clerical error right here. It happens every day, all day, every day in the criminal justice system. It's just part of the process when we file electronically. Sometimes it happens. Yeah, exactly. It's a harmless error. That's how it's designated typically. So, and it happens. It happens. And I can understand. I know that there are a lot of questions going around about that. Yep. We're only human. We make mistakes. It happens. There's no maliciousness behind it. It just, it's just part of the process. We do that. We make mistakes, we file accidentally, we screw things up. Sometimes the clerks call us and yell at us and tell us that we screwed up and then we have to fix it real quick. It's just for here, we have a whole bunch of people watching. If you're in contempt for paying money to someone, what usually happens? If you are in contempt for paying money to someone, if you've been held in contempt, there should be an order then that's been issued. Not legal advice, legal education, but if there is a finding of contempt, then there should be an order to follow it up. Hard to get a pardon in Georgia. That's good to know. I didn't understand why they're making a big deal out of it. Yeah, I know, me neither. Be hopeful. I'm with you on that. More likely to get jail time in state versus federal. That's a good question, and I have no idea. With that, I mean, Georgia's got that mandatory minimum. I'm not sure what the minimums are at the federal level. I didn't see who all named co-conspirators were. Was any of his family named? No, none of those names were listed in the indictment. So we don't know at this point. Is there any difference in the law due to him being a previous president? No, none at all, Emily. None at all. He is the same defendant, just like anyone else. That has absolutely nothing to do with anything. There's no immunities, no privileges given to him because of that. Governor can't issue a direct pardon. Okay, interesting. What's the difference between state and federal? What's the benefit? It's just a good technique, I think. When you're charged with state crimes and there's this hint of federal, you want to get it out, typically up into federal court because there's more resources available, I think, at federal court. And a lot of times in the states, like, this is personal. We take this personally. This is our jurisdiction. We're going to have a fire built that we need to go forward and take care of. But if you're at federal court, it's like you're one amongst a whole bunch of others. So it's just, again, a lot of it's a strategy. So many times in our states, if we have a state situation with federal charges, we're usually fine. If people want to bump it to federal court, we're like, fine, take it and run with it. But in a case like this, where there's so many Georgia statutes that have been violated here, Georgia's going to want to hang on to it with both hands. And I don't see them having too big of a problem doing that because there are counts 22 through 41 are all violations of Georgia law. So we've got one violation here of the racketeering law, which is a Georgia law, but then we've got 2 through 41. Why can't convicted felons practice law? Well, they can, as long as they're approved by the committee. You've got to go through, before you sit down and take a bar exam, you have to go through a background check and you have to get approved. So depending on your prior record, they will make that assessment. And if, whatever your prior record is, they'll say, okay, this was fine. You've taken care of it or whatever, and you can go forward. Or they can say, no, this is on our list of things that you can't do. So you're done. I think this will set a precedent for former presidents being indicted in the future. I hope not, James. Oh my gosh, don't say that. No. You take it back. Don't say that. I don't know. I don't know. I think we were kind of I think we were walking the line. I think honestly we were walking the line with Clinton. I think Clinton really was the point where we turned a bit. Where it was like Nixon, you can say, well, we've got kind of a bad situation here, okay, we're a one and done. But then with Clinton, nope, we're not a one and done anymore. Strong case against these defendants. Yeah, I mean, in order for them to bring it, and they've got several years of investigating it. Nope, I'm not convinced he's guilty until I see a trial. Nope, not at all. think they'll finish everything before the election. No, I don't know. I really don't know. I think it's going to get really messy. Indictment was leaked. Oh, here we go. Indictment was leaked. Clerical error. Next. Everyone in this indictment is innocent. Why are they afraid to go to trial? I think everyone's always afraid to go to trial, honestly, though, Suze. I think I would be afraid. Even if I was innocent, I would still be afraid. Any president who breaks the law should be indicted. Any part. Absolutely. I agree completely. If they are guilty of criminal acts, then they should. Hopefully this will clear. Perhaps. Yeah, absolutely. 16. Yep, we're at 16. Can I have a tally mark for dad jokes? All right. I don't know. I got several dads in here. We may have some problems. 100 million pages of evidence. Jack Smith, he's not messing around. He's not messing around with that. Who do you think will surrender first? Oh, I don't know. There are so many reasons for so many people. And so I don't know. What's the 16 for? Oh, we're counting how many times people think that a clerical error is grounds to toss out the entire indictment. So we're on 16 times that we've been asked. Wait, there's another. I know. There is another. Okay, there we go. Dad jokes. Let's start keeping track. Oh my goodness. Yep. They're attempting, and it's perfectly normal too. Again, it's perfectly normal. Do we have 17? Did I miss it? Did I miss 17? Okay, here we go. Thank you, Suze. What would I do? What about incompetent? I'm not sure. You have to be more specific. Is there any way for his attorneys to find loopholes in the law to have the charges dropped? I'm sure they're looking. I'm sure they're absolutely looking for them, and that's their job. I don't know. I cannot foresee that situation. I took a bathroom break during my, oh my gosh, no. Now listen, this wasn't meant to be a challenge for dad jokes. Advice on going to law school, mid-30s, no college degree. Most law schools are going to want you to have that college degree. They're going to need you to have that degree in order to qualify to go in. So you got to go forward, get that degree, however you need to do that, and then just go forward with it. Your age absolutely does not matter in law school. It does not matter. The only thing that it does is it helps you because you've got more life experiences, and that only helps you in going through and processing the law. With 4 indictments, is there a priority which trial goes first? I think it's really first come, first serve. It'll depend on the different dockets and who gets there first, who gets sentenced first, and so on. Political science, yes. Political science is very helpful. History is very helpful. Administrative, policy. Honestly, I've seen so many people even from business. That's been extremely helpful too. It's not a joke if you've been charged with it. Okay, the clerical error, yes. This was a clerical error. It was the document that was accidentally filed a few hours before the indictment came in. It was a clerical error, which is very common. And we're keeping track of how many times people have been saying that it will turn over the indictment. Of course, we can ask about it as much as we want, but will it overturn the indictment? No, it will not, and we're keeping track. Advice for people who are ADHD to be an attorney? Absolutely can do it. You absolutely can be, as I am proven, it can absolutely help you. That hyper focus especially can be helpful. But as long as you plan everything carefully and organize it carefully and stay on task, you'll be good. You will absolutely be good. Do you shake hands with opposing counsel? Absolutely, you do. We're fighting the good fight when we're in the courtroom. Although there was one particular counsel that I just could not stand. And I don't say that lightly because it takes a lot for me to be to a point where I'm looking at someone and I'm thinking, wow, you're in a human suit. How did that happen? And this particular person, I did not shake her hand. But that's the only one. Other than that, always have. Advice for people. Yes. Yeah, just keep a really, really good schedule. Keep a good schedule and stay on top of your schedule. Thanks for bringing the facts. You're welcome. Oh, yeah. ADHD, of course. It's a superpower. Oh, are we at 18? Okay. How do you feel about people who say it's not fair that he shouldn't be going? Timing's like not, that's like, we didn't write the timing. This is it. I mean, you do the crime, you get charged with it. When it happens is when it happens. So, it's stinkeroonie for him because he's got stuff he's got to take care of. But on the other hand, it's like crime waits for no person. When you get charged, you get charged. There's always just one human suit. True. Mama Vanna, let me write your name down. I will catch you after this live and we will talk. I love meeting new people. I'm pulling new people in. So do you think the other states mentioned in the indictment will take actions? I think it's likely. I think it's likely. I'm not pinning all of my hopes on it. We'll see. I think someone was on earlier that said Michigan's like, they got stuff to take care of, and so they don't have time, which I can totally respect. But we'll see. We will see. The supremacy clause of the Constitution apply to the states? Absolutely, it does. Absolutely. It is the supreme law of the land, and that includes all of the states. So when we are dealing with the supremacy clause, it definitely controls. But you have to understand, too, in the Constitution, the states are given certain rights and certain responsibilities. And so, whatever those rights and responsibilities are, that's what they take care of. Let me just set out here. Just make sure I've got my... Right. Article 6, right here. The Constitution and the laws of the United States, which shall be made in pursuance thereof, and all treaties made or which shall be made under the authority of the United States shall be the supreme law of the land. And the judges in every state shall be bound thereby. Anything in the Constitution or laws of any state to the contrary notwithstanding. So, absolutely. Election tampering is as serious as it gets. It's pretty significant. It is pretty significant. Yep, it's pretty significant. Minimum sentence. I've also heard that. 5 years minimum, mandatory minimum. Please explain how Georgia can charge for something that happened in Pennsylvania. They're not. And, Devnol, that's a great question. Here's the deal. Let me explain it for you. Let me break it down real quick. Here we go. The RICO charge involves a group of people in an enterprise with a common goal, and they do 2 or more racketeering acts in order to further that goal. What they've done is they've listed out 161 acts. Some of those acts occurred in other states, but they were still criminal acts, racketeering acts involved in their overall goal. The overall goal is part of the RICO charge. Now, if other acts in other states were involved in order to go forward on that, that's fine. Here's the deal, though. Not all of those acts took place in other places. We've got 161. We need to find 2 or more acts themselves. It doesn't matter, again, where it happened. It mattered that they were done in furtherance of the goal of the organization. That's the RICO charge. Now, charges or indictments 2 through 41, those are all violations of Georgia statutes. So all violations of Georgia law. So a couple of pieces may have happened in other states. That's fine. Those are just acts for purposes of showing that illegal acts were done in furthering of this goal. That's how the RICO statute works. It's a little different. It's a little different to kind of wrap your head around. Yes, I do. I have a Tube of You channel, which you can check out. I will be posting this live. It's supposed to be very, very short. It just now turned into a 3-hour live. Oh my goodness. But that is, I think that's definitely one of the reasons why they're asking for a change of jurisdiction or up to federal court. But again, I mean, we've got 2 through 41 for violations of Georgia law, and we've got 1 Georgia law, the RICO law. So, there's a pretty big difference there. Oh, dad joke. All right, dad joke. Oh my goodness. How many lawyers of his haven't been paid? Probably a lot. Why do they keep taking him as a client? That's a great question. If anyone knows, please let me know. What's racketeering? Racketeering is a type of illegal act that's done because there's a goal in mind. So they listed out in the multiple acts, specifically what a racketeering moment would be. Like one of the acts they said was going to a particular person's house in order to get her to give false testimony. That is a criminal act furthering a particular goal. So they're saying that that is a racketeering act. Is there any way treason could ever be put on the table? It's possible. I had someone send me a very good article that was written, two attorneys out of Chicago, talking about treason and talking about the implications of the Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. I'll take some time and go through that in order to really flesh out that argument, but it's possible. It's possible. It's such a broad term that, although technically we've got some elements required under federal law, but under the Constitution, it's pretty broad. So it really depends on how you can go about it. Racketeering, when you play squash, oh my goodness, another dad joke. Wow. Oh, the dad jokes. The same law Giuliani used to lock up. Yeah, that's exactly it. That's the same law. I don't think it reaches the level of treason. Yeah, I think it's definitely debatable. It's a huge, huge debate. And that's something that we really got to take a look at. Michigan charged 16 residents today for their involvement. Yes. Oh, Amanda, there's so much going on in Michigan with that. They are not messing around in Michigan. They are just not pleased about that one bit. Have other cases in the other states been completed? No. Nope. Not that I know of. Not that I know of. Legal debate dad jokes all in one. Our Constitution has too many holes in it. It's got a lot. You're not wrong. We've got a pretty robust penumbra. Waterblots motion to squash. No. Things are getting out of control. I can't keep it under control. Oh my gosh. What did Pink Panther say when he stepped on the ant? Oh no. I'm afraid to ask. Play dodgeball RICO style. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. 19. Okay, here we go. I'm so glad someone's keeping track of the clerical error comments. Dead ant. Oh. All right. I'm going to put that. That's a partial dad joke, but I'm going to give you credit anyway. Give you partial credit. I still think we should do a civil case for live's loss. Yes. Yeah, that would be pretty hard to plead that out. That would be difficult. Yeah, Gambino. Ooh, I don't know if I should say the G word, but yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of that going on. Yeah, I got you. Texas woman charged. Oh, really? Oh, I'm going to have to take a look at that. Thanks for the update on that. Yeah, I heard that there were some problems. Melania, okay. Well, have to take a look at that. Yeah, I'm not sure what she's been up to. It's just breaking. Okay. We'll have to look into that. It's so disappointing. But, if they catch them, and the fact that if this information is true, then they caught them quick. Are we going to sue China? Why would we sue China? Want to be vindicated? Okay. And then you have no. Oh, I don't know. I'm afraid again. Oh no. Now we're getting into the, oh dear. Yeah. In New York. Well, I mean, the days of our Melania. Oh, it's tough. Yeah. We've been talking about that a little bit, Pilar. We've been talking about that's just so unfortunate. As long as the judge is less than the clerical error tally, I will continue to make them. Fair enough. I understand. I really don't care. Oh, the jacket. Oh my gosh. Oh, that was a moment, wasn't it? I think that moment, and then with the hand flick, when he wanted to hold her hand, I think that's like burned in my brain forever. I just heard it and jumped back on. Oh, fair enough. Yeah, I left a voicemail to the judge. Oh dear. Yikes. Oh, interesting. Yeah, the hand flick. That was it for me. That was the moment where I was like, dang, what? What? She did not just do that. Oh, and the Christmas voicemails. Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh, the memories, right? It wasn't all bad, right? It wasn't all bad. What did the South Ocean say to them? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. This is taking a turn, people. Names and addresses. Yeah, I've heard they were leaked too. I've heard, and that's really unfortunate. They just waved. Oh my gosh, my gosh. This is really taking a dark turn. Dark turn here. Famous actor. You start really, Rico Rodriguez. Oh my goodness. Ah, just kept it moving. Yeah, yeah. It was really. Yes. Good night to you. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. Well, I mean, it was. I thought there was some very teachable learning moments that we got in that. The look he gave her. Yeah, I mean, it was just one of, again, we can say what we can. All presidents have moments where you're like, wow. I mean, there were moments when, Biden tripped upstairs and, I can't think of anything for Obama, but I think he like caught the fly like ninja style, which was kind of weird. That comes to mind. Or, you know, George W. Bush threw up on the Japanese prime minister, whatever. George W. Bush was like, well, he had his own world. But there's lots of examples, so I'm not trying to pick on any one person. The tan suit. The tan suit. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. I mean, he had some, yeah, exactly. Yeah, they all had moments where we're like, whatever. Does anyone remember when someone threw a shoe at George W. Bush? I mean, come on. I mean, there's all kinds of, it's great. It's pure gold comedy. All of them have it. And let's not even get started with Clinton. I mean, goodness. Oh my goodness. Nobody wants to go back to that. Whew. Yeah, he went fast. He was prepared. He was like, whoosh, he was out of the way. He had good reflexes. I know. The shoe was a lot. Yeah, it really was. Does anyone remember Dan Quayle and the potato? Like he misspelled potato? I just have this vague memory of that. I was learning in one of my classes because my undergrad is in political science, but like he spelled potato with an E at the end, and like he still will never live that down forever. Yeah, exactly. I mean, they all make those mistakes. Oh, to a kid. Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. Yes. Yeah, add an E. That was not so good. That was not so good. Carter and the Peanuts. Yes. Well, and Carter also had, I don't know if any of you heard he had a recording or had sent in some information regarding his customized trousers that he had made. That was a fascinating conversation about Carter. I learned things I never wanted to know about that ever. Yes, brother had a beer. Yes, yes. So there's a lot. I mean, what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of business going out there. A lot of business. So Carter, yeah. Oh, was it LBJ? Oh my gosh, I got him mixed up. No, I thought it was Carter. I'm pretty sure it was Carter. I'm pretty sure. Gary Hart. Oh my gosh. Ouch. Ouch. It hurts. It hurts. One of the best men to be president. Perhaps so. Perhaps so. But it was LBJ. Okay. Was it? I'm still so traumatized. I can't even remember who it was. I just keep thinking like, what? Oh yes, LBJ in the trousers. Thank you. Thank you so much. I knew it was, Carter was the peanut farmer. Right, right. I was gonna say that's right. Now that I think about it, oh my gosh, how could I mix up LBJ and Carter? Shame on me. He would never. You are right. You are so right. I was terribly wrong. Shame on me. I should get the finger of shame. Finger of shame. That's bad, bad. Shame, shame, shame. Carter was amazing. An angel, an absolute angel. LBJ, bad, bad LBJ. It did change shit. Oh my gosh. Oh, we're going running off the rails tonight. Yes, and Reagan's jelly beans. Oh my gosh. We should get, I know, shame on me. Oh, I feel terrible. I'm gonna have to send a letter to someone and apologize. Poor Carter. I'm so sorry. I'm so, so sorry about that. President Carter, my apologies. That was horribly wrong of me to say. For shame. For shame, yes. Would never. Yes, correct. I am ashamed at my own behavior. My own words will haunt me forever. For shame. Oh my gosh. Yes. Oh, Gerald Ford. Yeah. Anyway, the point is, we've all got, see, now I even feel worse, Suze. I feel even worse now that you said that. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to go make some alms somewhere and take care of my badness. How do you send up your camera to look down at the paper? I've got a little, I don't know, it's this little arm thing. That's my technical term for it. Yeah, I've just got a over the top camera holder thing in Madoo. And I've just set it up. So I had a very busy other kind of situation. Go to your room. I should go to my room. How dare I? How dare I? I'm grounded. I'm grounding myself. Yes, stand. Thank you, Shaggy. Appreciate that. Ah, John Adams isn't here. Yes, I know the ghost. Oh, yeah. But yeah, so I have a stand that just sets it out. So fool me once, shame on you. You, oh my gosh, George. George W. Bush. Oh my goodness. Oh, memories, memories, memories. So yes, there's a lot of that going around. We all make mistakes, just like this clerk in Georgia who accidentally filed this paper on accident. We all make mistakes. It's fine. It's fine. Doesn't mean that the world's ending. Just means we made a mistake. It's no big deal. It just happens. Oh my goodness. Goodness, goodness. Okay, so, well, everybody, the guy through. Yes, 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 yes. That's 19. Before the great, I know. It's awful. I know, it really was. Yes, it was awful. All right, well, on that note, everybody, I know, but I see I've just got a sliver of battery here. I wasn't really set up to go for so long tonight. I was only supposed to be up for about an hour talking about the First Amendment, but of course, happy to answer questions when I can. So, time for a mic. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, everybody, it's been amazing. It's been fun, of course. I do have a Tube of You channel that I will be uploading. So you can catch this, this fun chit chat with everyone. Don't feel bad. I know I've got to go send some money to Habitat for Humanity. I've got to take care of put my wrongs to right. But I will be back on tomorrow. How many marks of free bowl of soup? Oh my goodness, goodness, goodness. Yes. I will be back tomorrow, 6 Central Time. We're going to be talking about the doctrine of stand your ground and the Castle Doctrine, along with the Second Amendment a little bit. So we'll get into that and get into those issues and go through that. So tomorrow at 6 o'clock, and we will have a full, regular, fun, interesting, informative live going through all those different laws. So, yeah, no, okay, last dad joke for tonight. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you joining me for tonight. All the comments, spending time with me, and I will see you all tomorrow. Yes, thank you. Thank you, VC. Thanks to my mods. You're all amazing and wonderful. Thank you so much. So have a fantastic night, everybody, and I will see you all tomorrow.